Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 51 of the Smite Update. My name is Octane Pro, and joining me today, I do have a guest host filling in for Fats. We have FG3000. How's it going, man?
Thanks, buddy. You're doing fantastic. It's a beautiful Sunday.
It is. It really is.
Enjoying it.
It really is. I also have our other co-host here, F. Dot. As you can see, his beautiful face. F. Dot's currently having some technical issues, guys, but he will be joining us in just a minute. So make sure you guys stay tuned. He'll be jumping in to hang out with us here very, very shortly. Hopefully sooner than later. Outside of that, if you guys are not familiar with the show, this is a show based around community news, eSports, and then finally the latest patch. And so what we're going to do is we're going to dive into community news, kind of talk about a few odd and ends here and there. We'll jump into esports and talk about the latest results. We'll talk about some predictions, some things to come in the next few weeks, some surprises from this past week. And then finally, we're also going to go ahead and talk about the patch that came out the previous week. So the patch that came out last week there. And we'll go ahead and talk about it and, discuss different things, what worked, what didn't work that was implemented, the skin changes, stuff like that for sure. So, FG, man, first time on Smite game?
Yeah, man. Thanks. Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I'm so happy that you're here. So for the people at home that don't know who you are, as they haven't seen your face before, at least on Smite game, tell us a little bit about yourself before we jump into the show.
Absolutely. So I'm FG3000. I am, I guess I'm a YouTuber now that I no longer stream for Tier Monster, but I used to stream on Tier Monster weekdays. Decided that I wanted to do YouTube more, so I do tons and tons of YouTube content. I do 12 to 14 videos every week.
Wow.
I do live commentary. I do Smite Meta Casual News, which I have a blast with. And yeah, I love Smite. All I do is Smite every day.
I think that's awesome. And tell us a little bit about the Smite Casual News there, because that's more recent. It's only been out for a little while now, but it seems to be doing really well for you.
Yeah, I mean, really what I do at Smite Meta Casual News is I take, since I spend all day on Twitter, I spend all day on Smite forums, I spend all day on Reddit, I save you guys all that trouble, and I combine it all into a 10-minute news show. And I put that on my YouTube channel at least twice a week. Actually, after we're done with this, after I'm done jungling for you and carrying you, I will put out another episode of Smart Meta Casual News for today. So
excellent.
Looking forward to it. I actually love doing it, dude. It's awesome.
Carrying me? What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? So for the fine folks at home that want to kind of check out this content, I mean, 12 videos a week is pretty baller, to be honest with you. That is a lot of content to put out for Smite. Where can people check that out before we jump into things?
That is a great question. I'm glad you asked. I'm actually delaying you right now.
Oh.
I head to a link, and I'm just going to post it. Actually, I'm going to get banned if I post it in chat.
Post it in our chat. We tell folks at home that we use AIM Instant Messenger for our shows. So post it in AIM Instant Messenger, and I will copy and paste it into chat so people can go ahead and check it out. Look at that. Look at that. There's a guy in chat. OMG, I just found FG3000's channel yesterday. What are the chances, right? Okay, guys, I will go ahead and link this in chat. Make sure you guys go ahead and check him out. Also, you guys will see up on the screen there's a rotating text for a vote that we'll be talking about later. I'll put that in chat here now. So I just went ahead and put that in chat so that is available right there for you fine folks. It's a straw poll, and we'll get more into that here shortly. Those of you guys just joining, keep in mind that F. Dot will be joining us in a few minutes, so do not fear. He will be here very, very shortly. He's just dealing with some technical issues. Well, in the meantime, let's go ahead and jump into our community news while we're waiting to have F. Dot join us. So I want to remind you guys that every week there is a Pug Wednesdays is pretty much what it's called. And you can check out all the details on Reddit and also on the Hi-Rez forums regarding the fact of being able to find people like Hi-Rez Kelly and APC. I know F. Dot does them as well. But a lot of people jump in on these pugs, and definitely check that out. It happens every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern using the community Smite Mumble. So if you're somebody that wants to go out there and just join other individuals for some casual but also slightly competitive games and scrimmages during the week on Wednesday nights, make sure you check that out. I will go ahead and put the link in chat. FG, have you ever joined those pugs or ever checked them out?
I have not, but I've seen F. Dot cry every time they're canceled, so they sound like they're pretty awesome.
That's because then he has to come watch Fats and I cast 3 versus 3. That's why. That's why. So outside of that, I also wanted to let you guys know in regards to community news, we also have, and if you guys haven't had a chance to check this out, I encourage you guys to. There's a Smite eSports short video series that was started up by Drybear and also Bart, and it's a really, really cool series. I highly recommend you guys check it out. If you guys go over now to youtube.com/SmitePro, and you can go over there and check it out. It's a series called Face Off. And I'll go ahead and put that link in chat. And this is a really cool series that was started by them, and is definitely getting better and better as the weeks slowly progress here. But it's pretty much this past week. It was a short, like 10-minute video that went back and forth discussing best stat balance changes, Team Dignitas, recent tournament success and news, Smek from Team Solo Mid and his recent success, and then finally predictions for this upcoming weekend here regarding the SWC tournament series. Have you had a chance to check that out yet, FG?
That I have. I'll be honest.
Okay.
I'll be candid. I didn't really like the first episode.
I agree. I completely agree. So it's okay.
Really, really good.
It's okay. I think it was the angle and just like the.
Right.
I feel like the angle and the comfort level is what it was with episode 1.
Yeah. They're trying to do like a little bit of a, Stephen F. Smith, and I don't know if you guys watch basketball, and like a Skip, and they were trying to be really, combative, and I don't know if that was the right angle, but this time around it's much better. I really love the fill in the blank part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Much better this time.
Yeah, it's really cool. And everyone keep in mind with like any content that's show related, it takes some time to find out what works and what doesn't work. We have it here on the Smite Update every time. Sometimes we go ahead and try something different, and it takes some time to really kick in, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. And I think they made some really good changes though in order to turn it around, and it definitely has that. To me, I'm not a huge sports fan. I don't watch a lot of sports, but it definitely has that ESPN feel to it. And look at you shaking your head. If F Dot was on right now, he would.
F Dot? I need help.
I know he'd be on right now, like busting my balls, being like, really. So, and let's move on to one of our last items within community news before we get into esports here. And we have some time, so I want to go ahead and throw it. I'm going to put a straw poll in chat, and we'll go ahead and take a look at this. So this past week we had 2 new skins that came out. Now, how much do you like these skins? How much do you like these skins?
Well, we weren't supposed to have 2 new skins.
What do you mean?
One new skin.
I don't understand. What happened there? So why don't
Somebody is in trouble.
I know.
Somebody's in trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
That F Dot?
Yeah, it looks like he's coming in. I'm going to go ahead and mute him real quick. There's a lot of background noise, so I'll go ahead and mute that. FG, you're muted for just a quick second, too, while he turns off his air conditioner in the background or whatever he's using there. But guys, while I have them muted and we have F Dot coming in here, they are muted currently right now. I'm going to go ahead and throw that link once again in chat. And what we're talking about actually is the Geb1 and the Dark Whisperer skin that just came out this past week. And the Dark Whisperer skin was definitely one that we saw a lot of hype rotating around about it. And we saw a lot going on. There's some cool stuff that Hi-Rez was doing on stream about it. The Geb1 skin, though, was definitely something that nobody expected, nobody knew about, and then everybody just stumbled upon it. What are your thoughts on both of those there, FG?
I thought the AMC one was going to be like the best skin we've ever seen, and then all of a sudden, Geb1. Geb1 is, without a doubt, the best skin they've ever made in the game. I think when it comes to the community's usually always torn with things like, oh, this is okay, this is not.
Yeah.
I think the consensus was Geb1 was just phenomenal. Just roll out. That's all I have to say is roll out.
Yeah. No, it was super, super cool there. I was really happy with it. And so the link in chat that I keep posting is for a straw poll. I'm interested to find out, the Dark Whisperer skin was one that was planned ahead of time. But I want to find out, which one do you guys like more? Do you guys like the AMC Dark Whisperer skin? Or are you a fan of the stumbled upon, Hi-Rez very nicely recovered from, the Geb1 skin end up being released there? So I'm eager to find out from you guys. Right now, it looks like we have about 65% of our viewers here in chat voting for the Geb1 skin versus about
no doubt
34% going for the Dark Whisperer skin. I love the Geb1 skin. Every time.
Hold on, let me vote.
Oh, that's right. I'll let you vote. You're gonna make. There it is. You made the change. Yeah. I mean, the Geb1 skin definitely reminds me. Did you ever play any StarCraft 2 or watch any StarCraft 2 or anything like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, the Geb1 skin reminds me of a carrier. Or like the Protoss carrier. Definitely reminds me of that, for sure. Without a doubt.
I see that Milfox in chat is saying that the Geb 1 doesn't really fit the game, the aesthetics of the game, and I kind of see where you're going with that, but I think Smite is. I mean, you have Nurse Neath. I don't know how well Nurse Neath fits in the game. You know what I mean? I think when it comes to skins, they have the ability to just do anything they want.
Yeah.
They want to be wild. They don't really want to fit the normal Egyptian, Roman theme. They want to go crazy. So, I don't know.
Yes, I agree. So it looks like FDot's getting some things figured out here real quick. And while he ends up figuring those out, we'll look at, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look at our results right now that we're talking about these two skins. So, do you find, I mean, somebody had mentioned to me the other day, and I do not know if this is true whatsoever, is with the Geb skin, do you find it a little bit easier to control, like, his first ability, the rollout, with the ship?
Because you're in a jet?
Yeah, right? It may just be a skin, but I feel like the mechanics are a little different regarding like rotating and movement and stuff. Do you find that, or am I completely insane right now?
I'm gonna say you're completely insane.
Okay,
right
good.
Now. I haven't felt it.
Yeah, I mean, I really, really like it. I think, but let's look at the Dark Worshipper skin, because we're talking a lot about the Geb 1 skin, which looks like it's winning without a doubt. The Dark Whisperer skin, I thought was a good way to approach putting in something a little bit different, like not necessarily adding a new god, but making a skin for a very popular god. I think it was a good idea. I'm hoping we're going to see more and more of those. And what is the mythology behind that god? What's the name of that god that I can't pronounce? Or that
Cthulhu.
Not really god, Cthulhu. Yeah.
You're about to get kicked off.
Yeah, I know, right? Right. I'm like, oh. But yo, none of the gods that Hi-Rez ever picks is like simple and easy. Now, granted, this isn't God. I guess there's like, I did read the mythos. I had a chance to read some of the mythos about it. Looking up online.
Definitely not a god.
Yeah, and looking it up under Wikipedia. So I think it's a really cool way to add something different, like a nice little twist to things. I think it's pretty sweet there. Let me check in with him, see how things are going.
And it's something that the community's been asking about since the dawn of Smites. Like they wanted Cthulhu, but this is a good compromise.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think it is an excellent compromise, and I very much like the way they went about like altering the his abilities and stuff like that, the look of them and stuff. Especially with like the hive and the first ability there. It kind of has this like tentacle look to it with the glow on the tip, and then his second and third ability with the bees and the honey. The bees almost looks like a dark matter like vortex getting thrown at you or something, which is really cool. The bees very much reminds me of just like, it's like, oh, it looks like purple fireflies. It's like, all right, whatever, it works. So and then
the jokes that I can't get.
Yes.
I want to know what's so funny, Cthulhu. Like I want to know.
Yeah, and then finally his ultimate, which still has that stinger look to it, but almost has like these additional barbs added to it. So it definitely has a very cool appearance to it. So let's go ahead and look here. I have both of those skins up on stream right now. We have the Dark Whisperer one on the left, and then we also have the Geb one on the right. And I think as a community, we lucked out this past week at getting two really cool skins. Granted, the one was planned, the other one was I don't know. I don't want to say
leaked.
Who's
the blame for that?
And oops.
Hi-Rez, tell us.
I don't know that you could blame anyone for it. I feel like I saw somebody post on Twitter and they were like, this was all planned from Hi-Rez with their Twitter marketing scheme. It's like, how many retweets can we get? You know what I mean? Kind of one of those things. So,
right.
I feel like it's gone really well. Like the way that we've started to see Hi-Rez do more and more of these like Twitter marketing plans in regards to, hey, let's see how many retweets we can get, and then we'll go ahead and release stuff for you guys, because it definitely spreads the word on Twitter, which has been a blast.
Yeah, I remember a long time ago, Bart was just trying to get 500 retweets. I think that was 8,000.
Yeah, it was like I saw that and I was like, dang, that's a lot. Now, I guess either way they hit it, right? I mean, I wasn't following along with it, but I assume they did.
Yeah, they definitely hit it. I think it took a couple hours to get 8K.
It was scheduled. Okay, Chris in chat says it was scheduled to be released this weekend. However, because of a translation bug. What?
Well.
Whoops.
Yeah, having to maintain all that code for all those different languages, I
Yeah.
imagine that things slip through the cracks.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, without a doubt. So it looks like right now we're currently sitting on 80. Looks like
Hello.
82%. Oh, we can hear you. How's it going, buddy?
F dots.
Uh, it's going.
It's going. You sound so happy, dude. You sound so happy.
I'm so aggravated with my computer, but I'm happy to be here. Happy Sunday.
Excellent, excellent. You know,
Clapping it out, clapping it out.
yeah, I gotta figure out if I could dig up that picture I had of you to put in that spot. You know that picture? Oh no, the camera! Who's gonna
one?
need a picture if you got a camera? No
All
doubt.
right, we have a camera. I don't know. I don't know how long it's gonna work, but
All right, all right.
whatever.
Is somebody building a computer tomorrow?
Yes. Yeah.
You know, you should figure out a way to do that on stream. That'd be perfect. People love that stuff.
That sounds.
They
awful.
do, don't they? Spitting's done that so many times.
I know, and they get so many viewers for it. I can just imagine watching F. Dot do it and get so frustrated. Oh, it'd be
No.
awesome.
Real.
Exactly. That's what would go down. That's what would go down. So that's not gonna happen. But
So, any comments on what we've been talking about?
yeah, I think I'm the reason Geb 1 happened early.
Oh yeah, why is that?
Wow.
I was on the first period, and I forget if I had like surrendered or something, but like one of my viewers was like, "Hey bud, why don't you play the French client?" And I was like, "Fine." So I did, and then we were all like, "What is that? Are you joking?
Yeah.
Wait, what?" And then we like waited and watched it again, and then everybody tweeted like, what's this about?" And then like a little while later, we saw, Hi-Rez is, the cat's out of the bag. Da, da,
Yeah.
da.
Yeah. No, for sure. That was it was quite unique though. But I mean, I really like it. Any thoughts on the face-off show that we were talking about earlier? Kind of that sports-esque show from Dry Bear and Bart. That FG was upset that you weren't here to comment on.
I love the idea. I love the
Okay.
idea of additional content. I love the idea that we're moving in a direction where I can consume some esports related content that's not on the weekends. I can extend the conversation past just me and my friends, and as this is a niche sport, maybe I don't have friends that want to discuss it. So having content out there other than the actual sport is really important.
Mhm.
Not just as a fan, but as a part of the community. It's important, and it increases the amount of stuff, which is good. Now, the actual show, the pilot, I was like, all right, neat idea.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
That's the consensus right now.
Yeah, the first episode, I really liked it. I think they did the backdrop well. I think they handled the set well.
Yeah.
I think Bart and Driver will get a little more comfortable,
Mhm.
but at the moment,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good stuff. I liked all the content. You could tell that, like, I don't know, it's not forced, but there's a level of getting used to ability that they need to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll come quickly. I mean, you can tell the difference between the first real episode and the pilot. They were a lot
Yeah.
more comfortable. But I dig. You know what I really like? The feel of fill in the blank. Fill in
Okay.
the blank
Yes.
by itself was an interesting segment, but I like that they had Brad yelling off stage. I thought that was a cool element of it.
Mhm.
So I'm a fan. And I can't wait to see more. Not just more face off or whatever they're calling it, but more of that type of stuff in general. Also, shouts to the logo guy. Because that was a really, really good logo.
Oh, you like that?
I'm
No.
sure Dry Bear is sick of it by now.
Are you talking about
I'm
the forehead? Are you talking about the forehead of Dry Bear?
I'm talking the face. So they have the forehead
Yes.
and the hat.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that works out really well. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I think it worked out well. I like there was a lot of stuff they did, like the intro and stuff like that, the graphic and all that stuff. That was really cool as well. So that worked out very, very nicely, without a doubt. Also, I didn't get a chance to say shout outs before to the guy that did kind of that merge up there of that that Geb and also the dark, or the Geb and the AMC skin. That was a 59th Caboose actually, who I reached out to. He had actually posted that on Reddit this past week with like Pacific Rim posted on it, and
Yeah.
I reached out to him and said, hey, can I get that from you just without the Pacific Rim part? And he like did it within like a few minutes and sent it back to me. So thanks for doing that, man. I mean, that was a cool graphic, and yeah, Pacific Rim was a good movie though. I liked it. So it was good. Did you guys see?
Stop talking.
Oh, so
You're on your own now.
You know
buddy.
what? You know what? See, you both.
Have we like?
You both saw it.
Since I missed the first.
Yep.
For those of you out there that are ready to jump down my throat, I was here at the beginning of the show.
No, he wasn't.
I clicked join the meeting, and my computer shut off because it was at 95 degrees. So that's why you heard my loud air conditioner earlier. But I missed it. What did we
I hear somebody's air conditioner right now. There
Welcome
it
to the
is.
show, FG.
Yeah.
What's going on, brother? Is it my AC? It might be. I live in Texas, dude. So
It's somebody's AC
like
that
90
kicks.
degrees outside.
I think it's yours, FG, where like when you're not saying anything for, it's weird. I forget where that setting's at. Where if you don't say anything for a certain amount of time, all of a sudden it picks up on background. F. Dot knows all about this because he runs into it a lot, right?
I'll just keep talking. That's fine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's over there in the
Okay.
It's over there in the what's it called in the options. But anyway, welcome to the show. Glad to have you, bud.
Yeah, man. It's been too long. 200K. That's the last time I saw you.
Yeah, for real. We actually, believe it or not, Octane squirmed his way into having dinner with us too. It was pretty cool.
What? Get out of here. Get out of here.
No. Me, Octane, APC, and one of APC's friends went out to dinner, and FG was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" So we invited him to hang out. We had a good time. FG's
I'm not gonna.
one of my older friends in the Smite community, actually.
Oh,
Really glad to
snap.
have you around.
Well, if FG does good, we'll just replace Fats with FG, so it's all good,
Someone said I was the evolved version. Of,
The evolved version.
Of Fats.
You know what? You're not the
Considering
more
Pokemon.
You're not the more evolved version. You're just more in shape. That's all.
We're both shapes.
Just in different ways, right? Oh, I hear you. All right, for sure. Well, before we go ahead and jump into esports, guys, which of course is F. Dot's baby, let's go ahead and talk a little bit. We're gonna remind you guys that if you guys go ahead and look directly below the stream, you'll go ahead and notice that there is a streamer feedback button. And if you guys are really liking the show, or you have some comments or anything like that, please go down there and click on that button, streamer feedback, and give us feedback on the show. We're always looking to hear your thoughts on the show, things you liked, didn't like, stuff like that, ways to improve. So make sure you guys go down there and do that. That would be awesome. So following along here, we are going to go ahead and jump into our esports news for this week. Oh, look at you! Yeah.
It's a fun week in the American scene, man. Go ahead. I didn't mean to stop you. Go
ahead.
See, it was funny because usually after I'd like, all right, let's jump into esports, we hear F. Dot go, esports! But instead we have FG over there stepping in, being like, yeah. So this week we had week 3 of the North American qualifiers, all this leading up to the LAN events, should I say, for NA and EU. And this week we had first place Cognitive Gaming, second place Team Dignitas, third place Game Changers, and fourth place Snipe. And FG, I'll throw it over to you first, man. What do you want to talk about regarding North American scene right now? Because you said there's there's a lot going on right now.
There wasn't a surprise though. I see that we're talking about surprises. There was no surprises this week because COG has been this. Right, we saw them all season long, undefeated. So this is not anything that COG is not used to, right? COG has had Dig's number the entire last season. Dig's my favorite team first. Let me just throw that out there. Dig is always my favorite team, root forever.
Typical Dig fanboy.
But COG has always had Dig. They always had. So when they got to the grand finals, I was kind of like, oh, please Dig, and unfortunately, it didn't happen out for us this week. Not surprising though. COG is amazing.
Yeah, COG is a very strong team. They came out with a vengeance last weekend, or this weekend rather, last night on a Saturday. They played lights out. They really, a lot of it, and I forget the analysts. I want to give credit where credit's due. I forget who said it, but you see Jeff Finland, Barracuda, and usually analysts are rounding it out, and these arena tournaments, these casual 5v5 tournaments, whether it's Battle for Valhalla or otherwise, these 3v3 tournaments, anything that any competitive Smite that this team could get their hands on, that's what they were doing. And it really sped up the chemistry process, so to speak, of Jeff Hindler in there. And, not for nothing, they employed a little bit of secret strategies. And
Shut down Lassus.
Yeah,
Easier said than done, though.
Yeah, no, they kind of just focused the jungler. I mean, Laz's is one of the better junglers, and I think he still is.
Mm-hmm.
He died 10 times. See, that's what I'm talking about. He died 10 times. He's still Laz's, so he got 9 freaking kills.
Yeah.
But he died
On a
10
Loki.
times. Yeah.
With no red pots.
Yeah.
Don't forget
Loki.
that.
He's playing Loki, and COG kind of focused a lot of their efforts on killing him and Zapman. But, Laz was their target. Just keep him down and see what happens. And, that's kind of what they did.
Do you want to? Where's that setting at, F. Dot? Do you know, to make that audio change adjustment?
Open the
in there.
thingamajig, go to File, go to Preferences, go to Audio, and then at the bottom, uncheck stuff.
Use automatic volume and processing.
Yeah, it's that
clicked it.
nonsense.
There we go.
Nice.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
I'm over here
welcome.
trying to micromanage. I'm like, all right, I can't do it. It's not working. It's not working. So cool, without a doubt. So, were you said you weren't surprised at all at seeing COG go ahead and win out this week. I mean, Team Dignitas has done very well the last few weeks here. Do you think Cognitive Gaming could do it again next week, though? And that's what I'm wondering about, is the consistency there, or was this just a one-time deal?
Well, the consistency between COG and Dig has always been there. The same way that Snipe typically has COG's number, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you continue seeing Dig and COG in those grand finals, I think COG continues to beat them out. I hate to say it.
I think it's I think it's last year I was very much in love with this triangle model of
Phil Jackson, okay.
COG beats Dig, Dig beats Snipe, Snipe beats COG. I was very in love with this triangle model. And I think it's true to a certain extent still, but I think the players on both teams have really shattered that triangle, probably because, it's their own personal demon. I think Dignitas is a lot more capable of killing COG than they were previously. That said, I don't think that COG has gotten worse or Dig has gotten better. I think Dig has gotten tighter, honestly. They just seem a little more. And, that's every single game they play, they get tighter. And I think, Laz is at the top of his game.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the players are at the top of. I think Laz and Zadman are having some of the better games they've ever had.
Yeah.
And that is a dissenting opinion, as everybody's sitting in chat. Maybe not today, but sort of lamenting Laz's play. But it was a concentrated effort by COG. I think the small things, if you pay attention to the stuff that doesn't show up on the scoreboard, if you actually watch the gameplay, you can see that Laz is making the right decisions, and he's still there. So I think that come finals Dig versus COG, it's not a matchup you can call. It's a matchup you have to watch, and you have to see who wins. I think Dig can beat COG. I think COG can beat Dig. It's just going to be a matter of who brings out the better play that night.
What are your thoughts talking about, Dignitas for sure here? What were your thoughts on Anatoly going ahead and picking up Hades? Because when I saw it, I was like, and I'll be honest, when I saw it, I was like, really? But then all of a sudden we saw Ares today, so I'm like blown out of the water either way. But what are your thoughts around the table with with Anatoly going on Hades? Because I mean, if you look at the stats, it wasn't anything. I mean, it was 3 and 8, so it wasn't anything too crazy. I mean, it wasn't like Hades had a huge change all of a sudden and he was breaking everything. I mean, what are your thoughts with Hades there?
Let me do this after that.
I'm just sharing the conversation, but I just something brief is that I think Anatoly is just confident in his Hades ability. Dignitas and other people think that Hades counters Aphrodite, which that's an interesting conversation. I don't think it's not a counter, but a direct counter. Maybe not. But yeah, I just think he's confident in the Hades play, and it fit the comp that they were playing, so they went for it. They didn't really get too punished for it. Kind of just got beat up anyway, but I don't think it was related to the Hades pick.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think that the Hades number really, the 3 and 8, I don't really think that has anything to do with the Hades pick. He was actually doing pretty well against once he picked up the Divine Ruin first item. He was actually able to kind of keep that Aphrodite. Aphrodite's always going to come out of that solo lane pretty strong, but he forced her to pick ultimate. Like she wasn't leveling her back off at that point. She was like, I have to do my ultimate at this point in order to get out of Hades' ult. So I think it was a decent pick. I think if the game itself was a little bit more on the side of Dig, that Hades pick would have came to life, and then it would have failed late game. Sorry.
Well, one of the cool
But Hades is a great early game, mid game god. He's actually pretty legit, especially coming out of that solo lane. I just don't know. Just like Hindu Man says, I didn't get it after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you you watch the play coming out of Anatoly, and every time you sit there and you're like, all right, I'm going to Hades ult, he wouldn't. And then he would Hades ult later or earlier and get a kill or set up a kill. So his Hades play was intelligent, and it was well stated. It just he lost the game. He lost as a solo laner, not as a Hades player.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we did see positive sides of the Hades play. I think we did see a professional player playing Hades. I think that's something that happened. Yeah. And like I said, Anatoly's just comfortable with the god. I mean, Game Hunter plays Kronos and does good things, and if you try to play Kronos, you're not going to do good things. So everybody has gods that they're comfortable with, and gods that they can do things with that the average player might not be able to. So I do like the pick. Oh well. I don't hate the pick, and I think Anatoly exceeded what I expected from him.
Okay.
And I think that in the future, I won't bat my eyes when they pick Hades solo. I'll be like, oh, okay. Anatoly can play this, let's see it go. As opposed to like, why would you pick Hades? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm interested to see how I see that picked up in like rank play now, where I see people pick Hades and then go, well, Anatoly's picking it, so I'm going to go ahead and go with it. Yeah. And it's like, no. you know what's going to happen.
Play ranked anytime soon.
You know what's going to happen.
I have Hades and Ares in my games.
Yep. It happened exactly. it happened when Lassus started to play Athena in jungle, and everyone was like, "Oh well, Lassus could do it. I could do it. Let's go with it."
Which is legit, though. That's legit.
It works. It works, but it doesn't mean everybody and their mom can go ahead and actually do it, though. Like, it's not just simple and easy. Like, it takes a lot of skill to be able to take a god like Athena and change the typical role as to a jungle role. So that's my big thing. Like, please don't go out and play Hades just because you saw Anatoly do it and claim it's viable.
I'm gonna.
You're gonna. Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
And Nuwa. Don't get me started. I don't want to talk about it. Anatoly, Nuwa. One day.
That's right. That's right. That's
Calm
right.
down. Have you guys caught? Have you guys caught Pecky's Road to Masters?
I have not.
Absolutely.
I have not.
Proving Nuwa every day.
What Pecky's is out there doing.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew you in FG, you old school Nuwa. I love it. What Pecky's is doing, Pecky's made a new account called Ray Ray.
Ray. That's right. I heard about this.
And he's just playing Nuwa.
You guys talked about this last week, didn't you? I think you did.
Not talk about it. There's a person out there just playing Nuwa.
Okay.
So he plays. So the account name is Ray Ray. He has a total of. I can't find out his total, but he has 253 matches played on Nuwa in Conquest League, and then the next one is 10 matches on Scylla. So when Nuwa gets banned out, then he's got to play something else.
Yeah.
But he's just playing Nuwa basically.
Wow.
He has a 75% win rate with Nuwa.
That's impressive.
In Conquest League, his ELO's 2,500, and if I'm not mistaken, he's in Plat 2.
Well, somebody had posted in chat, I don't know if this is correct, 128 and 48.
Damn.
That's pretty dang good.
Sounds all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Potty. He plays decent now. He knows what he's talking about. So, I don't know. It's absolutely insane. It's crazy.
It's not crazy. We all knew this, F. Dot. Now you're on board. Now you're on board.
FG has been sitting there telling me the beauty of Nuwa since release. I think FG. You've been
Since they
hyped
stopped
on
trying
that.
to jungle her.
Oh, jeez. That's like after 2 weeks. That's like after 2 weeks.
Yeah,
God,
right
people
after that
still
happened.
don't know what to do with Nuwa. Like they're still like, oh, is she a hunter?
Yeah.
No, let's play her in the jungle. Like people still don't know what to do with her, and I mean that's why she's bad. Because nobody knows what the hell to do with her. And then
Right?
Ray Ray comes through and he's like, nah. Ha ha ha. Straight up just comes through and, no, I'm just going to win. Here we go.
So, taking a look at the North American brackets, looking at that, do you guys think? One sec here. I got kids crying.
UFG, calm down. It's not
Whoa,
that
whoa,
upsetting.
whoa.
It's not that
I mean, I just
upsetting.
want you to love Nuwa. That's all I want. I just want you to love Nuwa and me. That's it.
I thought I was about to have a kid falling down the steps, so I was like, all right, gotta go look.
Uh-oh.
Anyways, yeah, we're all good. Mommy's on it. So,
Diamond 3.
yeah, right. So,
Yeah.
take a look at the North American brackets from yesterday. Any upsets that you guys saw where you were like, wow, I'm really surprised that Team X went ahead and beat out Team Y. Not any criticism, just from repeated, history. Anything that stood out to you guys at all?
I didn't see Team X play. Or
Oh
Team
my
Y.
word, you're just a crap. By the way,
Had to go there.
last week, how many times did I have to hear Business Pro? Unbelievable. I was listening. I didn't get a chance to I cut it up and put it on iTunes and YouTube. Not listening to it yet. Not that I was gonna edit it or anything. I don't edit anything, but put it up there. And then this past week, as I've been driving back and forth for business, I was like, oh, I'll check it out and listen to it. And I'm like, really? You guys are unbelievable.
You're business pro, man. That's who you are. Business pro.
I
I don't know. I don't think there were any upsets. You had Team Dig take down Frag, Game Changers over Crit, Cog over 5 Angry, Snipe over Torch. Everything kind of fell into place like you would expect, to be honest. The Cog and Snipe was the game that could have went either way.
Yeah.
Of course, the Game Changers, you never pick them out. You just never know with them.
It was such
but
a wild card.
Dig over them. Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like NA kind of panned out the way most people would have thought. If you had to pick a bracket on this for $1 million, a lot of people would have won $1 million.
Just because there was nothing
Very
too
good.
crazy that occurred and one team
Yeah.
didn't come out and underperform. Last thing on here is my thoughts is throw it to F. Dot first. What are your predictions for last week? Or I'm sorry, for next week.
My predictions for last week.
Next week. Next week. What are your
Next week?
what are your predictions for next week? Just looking now that we're about 3 weeks in, you're gonna start to see some things stabilize a little bit. What are your thoughts for next week on week 4?
I predict Game Changers is going to make it to the finals.
Really?
I think basically if they play well, if their first 2 matches go well for them, they're going to make it all the way to the finals. Probably lose there to a Dignitas or a Cognitive. If they just play mediocre, then it's just going to be business as usual. We're going to see Dig Cog in the finals. I refuse to pick a winner for Dig Cog. I think they're both running on all cylinders right now.
Okay.
I haven't spoken to any of the Dig guys really since the season started, outside of pleasantries and hey, what's good. But all of them, looking at their streams and watching their gameplay in the season, they look very content. I think Laz's was probably frustrated after his performance yesterday. But like I said before, he played well. He just got focused by an entire team. That's why the numbers seem so big in the death column. But I think his play was fine. I think his play was good. I think it's still there. Everybody seems chipper and happy on stream and social media. And Cog, they just won. I've spoken to, I'm really close with Jeff Hindla, and he's like, dude, everything's just working. I've spoken to David Fry, the owner of the team. He's like, we just have everything working, dude.
Yeah.
And you could tell. You could totally tell. So I think it's exciting. I think both of these teams you can't pick a winner between the two, and I'm glad for that. I love showing up to these contests every week.
Okay, cool. FG, what about you? What are your thoughts for next week for predictions?
I feel like we're going to see the same exact bracket next week, with one change either being Cog and Snipe flipped around.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
Okay. I like it. I'm happy with Team Dignitas' more consistency over the last few weeks. Definitely being in the top 2 has been impressive. Outside of that, I kind of agree with F. Dot there when it comes down to game changers, possibly being in the finals. I mean, we've seen great results out of them over the past 4 weeks right now. They're making a really good impression, a team that is, not sponsored by anybody, anything yet, surprising a lot of people. So I can see it. I can see them rotating into the grand finals here and there. But let's go ahead and jump into a little bit more recent today. We had the Hi-Rez Week 3 European Finals, and little laughter. Lot to talk about here now. On the opposite side, we had first place going to Team Solo Mid, second place going to Worth Gaming, third place going to I5, and finally fourth place to Cloud9. So I'll throw it to FG first. What do you think, buddy? I mean, Worth Gaming.
#Worth.
I know, right?
Who are they?
Right?
What is this?
That's what I'm still saying that.
Yeah. #Worth came out with all guns blazing. I mean, that last game with Solo Mid, it was a little rocky, but towards the late game, they have a lot to be excited about. Just the way that last game went, the way they kind of clawed their way back into it with those Fire Giant steals repeatedly. They tried. They should be really, really happy about that. That's actually, as opposed to getting blown out, they have something to build on for next week. So they're going to come out guns blazing, and Team Solo Mid has a lot to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, I remember looking at there was a post, there's a Reddit or something like that from Adam about like teams to keep an eye on or something, and this was last week or the week before, and Worth Gaming was definitely there. And between them and I5, I feel like they're the talk of the town right now. I mean, Team Solo Mid and Cloud9, of course, have been very consistent, being in the top 4 for the past few weeks. But Worth Gaming and I5. I mean, you had Durgis on last week, kind of talking about I5 and just how how they're making a lot of surprises, but how good they have been recently, and how the synergy's just been flowing. So between them and Worth Gaming, I think they're going to start giving Team Solo Mid and Cloud9 a run for their money. I mean, I5 did this week for the bronze place match, so that's been pretty sweet. Looking at that, I guess surprises Worth Gaming for sure, especially I5 beating out Cloud9. But any upsets that you guys look at this bracket? Because I think you and I talked about this about 2 weeks ago, F. Dot, how we said the EU bracket just has better competition than the NA bracket right now.
It's more prevalent competition. I think the competition's definitely there in the NA scene. It's just concentrated more onto a couple of teams. Here in the EU, there's just so many teams out here. And, talking about upsets, Cloud9 came in 4th this week. What? They're our number 2 team. They came in 4th this week. Let me just repeat that. Cloud9 came in 4th this week. I5 beat them, but not before they lost to Worth Gaming. Gaming. So that game wasn't televised. It was a 20-ish minute game.
Wow, that's it?
Yeah, it was a 20-ish minute game where Worth Gaming beat them 24 kills to 11. Numbers don't always tell the story, but...
These do?
Sometimes they do.
Numbers don't always tell the story, but Shaggy Shank went 10, 0, and 12.
Wow.
Okay.
Who? Shaggy Shack? Who? Like, that's so impressive.
So the very first week...
Okay.
The very first week, I was watching the tournament with some friends, and I was like, who the hell are these guys? Like, we've heard about I5. They've been making, splashes and this, that, and the third. And then Worth Gaming came out the first week, and they beat Exposed Secrets, who is my team to watch. That was the F. Dot baby. That's Zelia and Proxy and everybody.
Did you see Proxy left them?
Yeah, I did.
That's a shame.
Hi-Rez playing support now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my team to watch, and Worth Gaming beat them, and I was like, whoa. All right, they put up a fight against TSM. Whoa. I didn't recognize a single name. Like,
okay.
I've seen Shaggy Shank's name before with respect to ranked, but like I didn't really recognize a single name. And then the second week, they did well. But, they lost to Bloody Tech in the second round. Second round, I think. It wasn't that big of a deal, and I was like, all right. I don't know. That Shaggy Shank guy looked real. But this week, they kind of got smoked. Well, then, Third week, I don't know what happened the second week. Maybe they all showed up drunk or something because these guys lights out. They took a game. They gave us our first game 3 of the season. Shaggy Shank still went off. It was a pleasure to watch. I love watching these dudes. Aries. There's just so much
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
There's so much to talk about. There's just so much to talk about.
All right. So FG, what are your thoughts there? I mean,
Shaggy was on point. His Uller play, like, what?
yeah.
I felt like I was watching Zapman. I'm just saying. I'll just throw that out there. I felt like I was watching
Oh.
Zapman in the EU.
We gotta start calling him
out there.
Zapman Jr.
Big
huh?
shoes.
Zapman
Big
Jr.
shoes, but hey.
I agree with that. It's something that's often said in our scene that European solo lanes are just better than American solo lanes, and American hunters are just better than European hunters. Now, I don't necessarily think it's a hard and fast rule, but when you look at Zapman and Barracuda, I do think they outshine Smek, Youngbay, Funball, Reels a lot of the time. I do think they outshine them.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I think Shaggy Shank is playing an American style hunter, which is a more aggressive hunter, a less far, like a more in your face. Look at my abilities. I'm going to use them. It's a very Zapman Barracuda-esque model, and Shaggy Shank A is playing that model, and he's skilled enough to let it shine. So he's kind of my North American hunter behind enemy lines. That's how I view it.
Unless Game Hunter decides to go back to Hunter one day.
Yeah.
That's true.
Never know. Never know.
That's very true.
So, I guess I saw a post here on Twitter and I was wondering about it. What are your thoughts on SK Gaming and Team Coast Blue right now in the European scene? Just kind of want to put it out there. What do you think? Yeah.
I loved watching their matchup. It was a great game. And that's it.
Yeah, like
Like SK and Team Coast are very evenly matched towards each other, and there are still remnants of skill. I think Reels is still one of the better players in our league. I think SK who took the victory over Coast, I think they're a little better at this moment in time, just because Captain Twig will always be nasty. Reels is generally pretty good. Badger knows what he's doing, and I like their Portuguese solo lane maniac. I think he's a really big pickup. Zeros did well in the game today. I don't think he's a shining part of the team, but I think SK is in a better position to reclaim their former stature than Coast is.
All right, what do you think, FG?
SK
I mean,
is always in conversation. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of fell off after the 200K tournament, but granted, there were a lot of roster changes. And I think these definitely affected them the most because of the fact that after the roster changes, I feel like the synergy just wasn't there to the point where, like, we're not seeing them in the top 4. We're not seeing them in the top 8, like, which is a shame because, we saw, they did pretty well. But unfortunately, kind of falling behind right now. So hopefully we start to see some better results out of them over the next few weeks.
I think
go ahead. No, go for it, please.
No, I was saying I think a lot of people really underestimate how much a roster change impacts a team. Just putting, just talking about COG just for 1 second. They only replace one person, but it's the support, right? They kind of feed through that character. So especially if you take a team and you take more than just one roster change, it takes a while to get that synergy, and that's kind of why Dig is so good, right? They are probably one of the most stable teams ever. So that's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love that you just brought that up, FG. And I mean no disrespect to Dare to Care.
Sure.
Cognitive Gaming upgraded their roster by picking up
Jeff.
Finna.
Oh, for sure, without a doubt.
And then they proceeded to lose miserably for 2 weeks in the regular season. With a better roster.
How's that work?
Yes. So I do think that Dignitas stepped up their game a little bit. I do think that Dignitas brought a little more of the oomph, so to speak. But also worth noting, they just weren't chemistrized. You know, the cognitive just needed
Chemistrized.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. You give them 2 weeks and some community tournaments.
Octane, I'm going to have to leave you out for 2 seconds.
Yo, go for it, man.
You give them 2 weeks and some community tournaments, and then bam, life is good.
Yeah.
They're like the first season of the Miami Heat when they got together. They were like, wait a minute, you guys are like the best players in the world, and why aren't you winning? Same thing. Sorry, Octane.
Nice chair.
I still love you, but I hate you, so it's okay. All good for sure. As we're moving along here, guys, if you guys have questions for the three of us, I'll post a link in chat. It's up on the rotating text below the three of our pictures there. You will see it I think it's every 3 minutes. But ask.fm/TheSmiteUpdate. Feel free to go ahead and post questions there. It's the favorite part of this part of the show is actually answering some of your ridiculous BM questions. So feel free though to post them there. I'll put the link back into chat once again as well. So any last comments on the EU bracket that you guys want to talk about that we didn't discuss, regards to predictions, new teams, surprises, upsets, anything like that?
Go
Team Dig.
Yeah. I think a lot of our surprises are kind of like out in the open now.
Mm-hmm.
I think our surprises are I5. Well, not so much I5, but I think our surprises are Bloody Tech, Agilitas, Exposed Secrets, and Worth Gaming. Worth Gaming being the biggest one. And there you go. Now that they're out in the open, don't be surprised if Worth Gaming takes first place overall. They took second and took a game off of the mighty TSM. Don't be surprised about any of that. There's no reason to be.
Yeah, looking at it overall, like Bloody Tech for me was kind of one where I was like, wow, I was like pretty, I knew they were out there, I knew they were doing some stuff, but just to see that, hey, they're starting to make it past like the first few rounds here, like good for them. Any team that's just starting out that hasn't been together for 6 months or whatever, like if you're making it past the first few rounds, good for you, without a doubt. I mean, that's pretty impressive for sure. Moving on from there, and I wanted to throw this in there because I know F. watches a lot of other eSports for sure. And I wanted to put this in there as well. I'm not as familiar. FG, do you play League of Legends or Dota or have played them or anything like that?
Yeah, that's where I came from, League of Legends and Dota 2.
Excellent. Well, I'm really glad I picked this. I saw this post come out of here. Actually, it was on Twitter, and this was posted from the Red Bull guys, and it was regarding the compendium. And in chat, I want you guys to understand, like when we talk about other MOBAs, it's not that we're like, oh, we love them more, oh, they're better. It's because Dota and League of Legends are industry giants when it not only comes down to MOBAs, but also comes down to esports for MOBAs. And I think it's very important that when you look at these other esports out there and other games out there, you don't shun them and try to put them away like they're the worst thing in the world. They're doing a lot of things that are right. And there's a lot of things that we as the Smite community, and especially not only from the game, but the esports side, can learn from them. And so I wanted to bring this up. The compendium, which is insane when it comes down to with Dota, has the International 4 coming up, and the International 3 was insane. And they do some really, really cool stuff. And, throw it out to you guys. I'll throw it out to both of you guys before we dive into it. Have you guys had a chance to see the last one that went on? The International 3?
I caught some of that broadcast.
I didn't see it, but I saw the dollar amount.
Okay, it doesn't matter. That's
well,
important for sure. So I'll put the article that I kind of am thinking about here in chat for sure. And if you guys aren't familiar with the compendium that's going on with Dota 2, there's some really cool stuff that Valve has been doing. When they developed Dota 2, they had in mind esports right off the back. And I think that's super cool. And the reason I say that is they went into building the game looking to expand the experience for the viewers, not only outside of the game on Twitch, but also in the game when it comes down to everything else like that. So, yeah, I mean, when it comes down to the in-game content, the way you can view it in-game, the way you can interact in-game, stuff like that. So, I'll just throw it around the table. What do you think, from Smite's perspective and esports, that you think that we can learn from other esport MOBAs like Dota 2 or League of Legends that can help us grow?
Let me just put this out there. I think the compendium is the coolest thing in the world. I've played about 2 matches of Dota. I think, maybe 3. I've lost all of them to bots. I totally bought the compendium. I just like to be a part of those things, but every decision Valve makes is perfect. I think Valve
this is legit.
Like everything great. I'm an old school Counter-Strike fan.
Mm-hmm.
I think Valve just has been dope. And to be fair, I think Smite has been doing a lot of cool stuff. I think it's I think it's unfair to really compare the two because Smite and Hi-Rez are in a much different position than Dota and Valve, or League and Riot.
Sure.
And Smite has done their own form of crowdfunding. Shouts to Poolside and Skin.
Yeah.
We've done it. We've gone from $100,000 to $208,000. So or 216 or something like that. So that's definitely reality.
Yeah.
The compendium is a little more in depth.
Yep.
And as a community, as a company, you got to take things one by one. You don't just come out and say, "All right, guys, here's this really complex donation tip type purchase you could do." Nah, you start off like, "All right, you know what? Let's see if people will buy a cool skin if they think it's for if they know it's for esports." And they did. They came out in droves. And they're like, why don't we do that with a T-shirt as well? And they did. They came out in droves. And next year maybe there's room for a more complex option. But I think Smite's doing things the right way, one step at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, I don't want to go ahead and say, taking a look at it, that, they're so much better, stuff like that. But I think there's definitely things to learn for sure. And what I mean by that is if you go ahead and take a look at it, the way that they went about with the Poseidon skin and the other options. What else was there? There was the Poseidon skin, and what else did they add? They added the T-shirts, the icons. What else was there?
Okay, I need to silence the crowd real quick.
Okay.
Nobody plays Team Fortress 2 competitive, all right? I know. They have little 4v4s where it's 2 scouts, 2 snipers. I know. They have 7v7s with action. Nobody actually cares about your game. I'm sorry.
Shots fired.
If you guys, all right, no doubt. If you guys care about TF2 competitive, then Strangelove is going to show you competitive garden warfare, all right?
Yeah.
Nobody plays your game. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean... And what I'm commenting on specifically is the fact that, wow. Okay, so I feel Hi-Rez definitely took a play out of Valve's book when it comes down to, hey, we have a prize pool of 100K that we're putting in. How can we go ahead and increase that, like hardcore? And they definitely took, and they tried it out. I feel like this was the first time they went out there and said, listen, we're going to offer these different things. A certain portion of it is going to go ahead and go towards the prize pool. Let's see how far we take this. I think it is a huge achievement to take it from 100K to 200K. And then go beyond that. I don't know what the final number was when it came down to, do any of you guys recall what the final number was?
216.
216, yeah.
$116,000 more. I think that's super impressive. And what that link that I put in chat that I thought was really interesting to look at was, what Dota 2 is doing with the compendium is they have from 1.8 million to 6 million. They have this kind of tier broken down, and depending on where the prize pool hits, which to me 1.8 million on a prize pool for any esport I think is phenomenal. But then to go ahead
and already insane.
I know, and then to say, well, let's reach for the stars here. Let's go for 6 million if we can. I think is amazing. And so at each level, they have 1.8 million. This will be added as part of the compendium package. And 2 million, this will be added for the compendium package. I think this stuff is really cool. And now, granted, Dota 2 and the guys at Valve can do a lot more. I feel like they could do right now, compared to Smite, a lot more of a reward-related feature when you buy the compendium pack. You not only get the benefits in game, and they have a million different things in game that you get when you do that, and ways to interact with the whole esports side, but then also outside the game as well. But I'd love to see Smite kind of pull out something like this. I'm not talking about prize pool numbers. Put those completely aside. I'm just talking about the sheer fact of allowing the community to fuel the prize pool once again. And add in more benefits and features. What do you guys think about that? Do you like that? How Dota 2 works with a compendium and the things that you get to do as a viewer?
I think you were kind of hinting to the point there. It's not really about the money. It's about getting everybody involved into this big, huge esports
Yep.
baby that Hi-Rez is trying to create. So I think that's huge, and I think that we're on our way to being able to offer things like this based off of just Smite. You know,
Yeah.
they keep adding things. You know, voice packs, for example. What they have the couriers, which we don't have in Smite.
Yeah.
But we have wards coming up. There's a lot of things that we're. This past launch, like you said before, was too soon. This next tournament in January, we might, not the numbers, but we might see something very similar to this. There's no way that Hi-Rez is not looking at the success of all this right here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, with the compendium, there's some nice things you can do in regards to like watching from in the game versus like out of the game and stuff like that. Now, granted, from what I understand, the Unreal Engine and the way that it was built originally with Smite, you can't really do that. You can't really have like people watching the stream or the game like thousands and thousands of people in game spectating it. So I don't think we'll ever be able to do that. But I feel like there's a lot of other perks, I guess we can call them, that Hi-Rez can give with purchasing like a big compendium package. I mean, I would love to see different packages available from Hi-Rez. Like, let's say there's 5 different packages, and each of those packages goes towards a larger prize pool, and you get different perks in game and stuff like that. I mean, I want to get to the point where like I can have the flag of the team that I'm cheering for in the World Championship in the throne room when I start out the game, and weird flags and stuff like that. Like, what do you think?
Wow.
Well,
I thought you were about to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give a little background for the
Sure.
people that aren't familiar with the compendium.
Please.
You know, so the compendium you just purchase it, and then it goes on, and with each stretch goal that they reached, they offer more abilities to the players. So, for example, if the prize pool reached $2.4 million, then you get a new HUD, like all the UI. It's now compendium themed, which is there are multiple HUDs you can have in Dota, and now you get a compendium one. At 2.9 million, a new game mode came out. It was all random deathmatch. At 3.5 million, they gave chat emoticons. You know, at 4.5 mil, they gave new music. At 5 million, they unlocked a 1v1 mid lane only matchmaking option. And these are things available to everyone, not just people that purchase compendium. At 5.5 mil, now it like rains environmental effects, and then at 6 mil they have base customization. That's all the stretch goals they have, and they're probably going to have to add more. But what's it called? Yeah, you know, it's just crazy stuff coming out there. So a lot of cool things coming out with the compendium. It's more options, more abilities for people to, more things in game for you to unlock as it comes out, not just the superiority feeling of funding the prize pool.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned before, it's a lot of, you know, manpower. They're not just adding like a skin here. They're adding new game modes and new things to the game completely. So it's a big undergoing, and you know, maybe next time around we can see something like that coming out of Hi-Rez. But you know, Valve is in a unique position to do what they do.
Yeah, I like where Hindu Man actually says it in chat. He says, as long as none of the things affect the integrity of the game, he loves the idea. I think that's a very good point. A very good point. For sure. Any last comments at all? I mean, we'll just throw it out there in general. I mean, with the League of Legends, Dota 2, is there anything else from an esport perspective that you guys are like, hey, I like what they're doing here. I'd love to see it applied in Smite.
This is the best thing in esports right now, by far, because it just makes people that don't care about esports, it puts it in their face, and they don't really know they don't like esports. A lot of people don't know. They just play the game, and they're like, why would I want to watch someone else play? But until they actually get into it, they actually find a team they like, they find players they like, they get invested, and people that are invested in a game don't leave and go play another game. So they're doing the right things, by far.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for sure. Well, let's go ahead and jump into kind of discussing the patch that came out last week. We had the skins that came out, the Dark Whisperer skin and the Geb 1 skin that FG3000 and I talked about at the top of the show. Any comments on them, F. Dot? I know they're not always a huge thing for you, but you like them? The Dark Whisperer skin and the Geb 1 skin. Which one do you like the best?
Geb.
Geb. Everybody says that.
Well, I mean, of course, I have to take like responsibility for making it a thing.
Yeah,
that's what I do. So like, I'm gonna be that guy. So it feels kind of cool in that regard. And secondly, it's just cooler.
Yeah.
What I do have to give credit to, oh man, Smite game, Hi-Rez, the hype leading up to the AMC skin,
I know, right?
indestructible. Indestructible.
Good
So
marketing.
cool.
Good marketing.
Amazing. It was like, all the stuff on the channel, everything beneath the video, all these
Mm-hmm.
little art panels were all like Cthulhu'd up. Kelly's camera like
Yeah, was that cool?
it was.
Yeah.
I was so hyped. I knew it was coming, and I was so hyped. Like, it was awesome.
So outside of that, just talking about a few things here that came out this past patch. They actually removed the Night Prowler Bastet skin.
Mm.
Anybody? Anybody surprised? Anybody
I
surprised?
actually am surprised. I'm like legit surprised because I thought that it was. Obviously, we know what it was about, right? We know
Yep.
what it was inspired by, but
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
I felt that it was inspired by. Like I felt like it
Yeah.
wasn't blatant,
Yeah.
right? Catwoman is not a cat. She doesn't have paws, right? she doesn't have a full helmet. It doesn't. I don't know. I thought just the same way as Wukong. I thought it was just borderline. I thought it was going to make the lawyer cut, but apparently not.
Yeah. Yeah. So, unfortunately, the Night Prowler skin was removed. Those of you guys not familiar, you will be refunded your gems. So if you did go ahead and purchase that, what do you gotta say, F. Dot? I see
Buy
you
Hades
bite.
with those
I see you
gems.
biting your lip right there, bro. I see you biting your lip.
So, this is something that a couple of my viewers over on First Period brought up.
All right.
They're refunding the gems for the skin. Those that purchased the voice pack because the Night Prowler voice pack was different are not getting their voice pack refunded.
Oh. Hi-Rez Chris. We're gonna put you on the spot. What do you think about that, buddy?
That's just something that a couple of my viewers have brought up.
That's a really good point, actually. We didn't see anything
that's
about
true.
that. Because the exact statement on the note says Night Prowler skin has been removed from their game while aspects of the skin are reworked. Our sincere apologies for this inconvenience. Everyone that purchased the Night Prowler will be refunded the gems from the purchase. So, yeah, I see that. And, yeah, man, F-Dot's always bringing the drama. Always bringing the drama
Yes.
hammer along with him.
I think the reason why they didn't just come out and do that because it's
Yeah.
a little bit messier.
Sure.
Because I have the Bastet voice pack and I don't want it refunded. Like I want to keep it, but I know I could just rebuy it. It's just messier, I think.
No,
But I don't know.
I'm with UFG. I don't I don't think that this is Hi-Rez being like an evil
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
doer. I think it's just
Corporation.
yeah, I think it's just like FG said, it's just messy and whatever.
Well, they did say they're reworking it, so they're going to be reintroducing it, so you'll be able to reuse that voice pack, which is a benefit there. But at the same time, it's like if you refund the gems for the god and you spend the gems somewhere else, then you just have to buy more gems later.
That's a good point too.
Yeah, so outside of that, there's been a lot of changes. I'm just kind of going to go over a few here and there, and guys, please let me know if there's any that kind of stood out to you.
You're not gonna talk about Nemesis? You're not talking about my second favorite guy in the game? You're just gonna skip Nemesis?
That she got a voice pack? Whatever,
You got a very controversial voice pack. A lot of people
Why
were
do you
kind of
say
like
that? Why
up
do you
in
say
arms
that?
about Nemesis because Nemesis went from this stone cold justice killer
Uh-huh.
to like a Saturday morning anime cartoon character a little bit, just
Yeah.
a little bit, talking about like volleyball and being waifu and senpai. I don't know. I'm cool with it. I love Nemesis still. I'm never turning that voice pack off ever, even given the option.
So yeah, I mean that was added in there. The Nemesis voice pack, as you commented about, there were some changes directly
The
done.
Allied voice pack.
The Allied voice pack.
The voice pack is basically a shout out to Allied. Like, the
Yuraku.
entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
The entire thing is a shout out to Allied. I love it.
There were also some changes made on Siege. A lot of fixes, should I say. Outside of that, other big ones which will start to affect some of the tournaments coming out here, at least from Siege map perspective. We did go to have, and now the Siege map now features support for a custom sub-level that clears the trees and obstacles. If you guys aren't familiar, when you hit the U key when you are in the spectator client, it pretty much chops away the environment, allowing for you as a spectator to get a better perspective and not be running into everything. Well, that was added into the spectator mode for Siege. So, I mean, from what I've seen in the community, there's a lot of Siege tournaments starting up here, or getting planned to start up here in the next few weeks, which is pretty cool from a casual kind of merging with the competitive scene perspective. What are your thoughts on that, F. Dot? I know you always love these.
I had the pleasure of casting a Siege tournament this Saturday. Well, most of it before my computer shut off. I'm actually
Okay.
really surprised that my computer's still on at the moment. But games are quick and fast. There is definitely a meta to be had there. DM Brandon right now is actually streaming a 4v4 scrims. You know, there are ways to take it as a competitive game mode. I don't think it's inherently non-competitive like Assault, and I don't think it's stretch competitive like Arena.
Why is
Does
it
that make
4v4,
sense?
by the way? Why is he...
Totally agree with
4v4
that.
is just smarter. I think it was really stupid for Hi-Rez to put it out as 5v5. Just doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
But yeah, what's it called? I think 4v4 Siege is really where it's gonna land. I think that's where it's gonna be. I think that's what's gonna work.
Okay.
So you know, I think it's so Assault is just it's anti-competitive because
Correct.
it's random.
Yes.
Arena,
Yep.
I called it stretch competitive, and what I mean by that is it's not a competitive game mode. It doesn't make sense to be a competitive game mode. If you want, you could play it competitively, but it's like you're pushing it, bro. Conquest obviously is built around being competitive, and I think Siege, in sort of like, it's just, you know, the game mode lands between Conquest and the other game modes, and as such does the level of competition.
What are you thinking about the competitive side of Siege mode FG3000?
I don't know. Let's talk about that 4v4. So, are we, I guess, getting to a point where it's just going to be 2-1 and maybe like a small roamer? Is that what you're envisioning with that?
I think it's just 2v2, and I mean, Juice will tell you more about this. I honestly don't care about Siege at all. Everybody tells me it's more fun. I don't care.
I wouldn't
as
say
fun as
that.
See as Conquest. So that's what I pay attention to. Like, you know, Horse is really fun, but I don't pay attention to competitive Horse. I watch back.
Nice analogy. I don't know. I like the 5v5. I really think it adds a little dynamic there. But I haven't seen 4v4, so I can't really speak on it until I see it. But I think it's a good baby step, right? A lot of people are just terrified of Conquest. I'm not sure why still.
Yeah.
But people are terrified of Conquest. They're not terrified of Siege. So if this is going to foster its own community, that's great. This is going to groom people to move up to Conquest. That's great too. I think it's a win-win, and I definitely think it's more competitive than Arena. And I don't think Assault was ever competitive. No. I can't even believe you casted in this. Didn't you drive early? I don't even know what you guys even talk about.
Well, the Siege tournament, honestly, it was me and SNK.
Okay.
It was actually really funny. Siege tournament kind of went like this. All right. So we're off. You got team in the blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Team in the red, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're gonna go and they're gonna get their jungle buffs. All right, you're gonna go up. Somebody's fighting somewhere. The fight ended. They got the tower. Now they're fighting over the mid Fury. The fight ended. They get a siege tower. They win. That's every game. It's like 11 to 15 minutes. It's fantastic. We got to the finals. It was like an hour, and my computer busted. So credit had to come in. It was actually really funny. Every single game was actually really hilarious, and I'm sorry, Cret. Every single game lasted an average of 12 minutes.
Wow.
Most games were 11, and one was 15. But every game was just like 11 minutes straight. So my computer overheats. For those of you that don't know, I'm having issues with my computer. I'm fixing it tonight, or today rather. Every single game was mad quick. Computer overheats. I call up Cret. I'm like, yo, Cret, I call him up on the caster phone, like the bat phone.
The caster phone.
We all got the caster phone. Like I have my casters on the caster bell on speed dial. You know, just hit up Dry Bear or something. So I hit up Cret on the caster phone. I'm like, Cret, are you there? There's a problem in Casterland. We need you. And he's like, that's right, I'll be there.
Ta-da!
Exactly.
That's
awesome. And I'm
awesome.
like, yo, Cret, it's just finals of a siege tournament. Like, do it for 20 minutes and play Hearthstone at the same time. Deal? He's like, no problem. He comes through, the first game is 29 minutes.
Oh, my word.
Oh, wow.
Homie got stuck casting for like the same amount that I casted the entire first like 12 brackets.
Wow.
Like it was hilarious.
I love the caster phone, by the way. That was awesome. Just want to put it out there. That was awesome.
I don't have that phone number.
It's you know, like I'm just sitting like, you know, I was in my car on my way to go get pizza one time, and I just get, hello, is this F-Dot? We have a problem in Casterland. And I was like, I'll be there. I hit the rocket button on my car, and I just jumped, and I got back to the caster cave. It was great.
But he
Yeah,
could.
man, you gotta put in stripes to be part of the caster league.
Yeah, right. That's what you got to put in your time. So
I think Hindu Man's put in his time. He's casting the weeklies. He's the top
Man's
dog
good.
of the caster
That's
cave.
right. There you go. So, any last thoughts on like Siege, like competitively? I mean, I feel like right now with Siege, and you kind of commented on it. Like, I feel like it fills that shoes over Joust in regards to like a beginner type of map and game mode for people that are like afraid to tap into Conquest for I don't know why, but afraid to really jump into that. I feel like Siege mode fills that shoes because one, you have the 2 lanes with actually the towers and the Phoenix, and then 2, you have a decent sized jungle there, which kind of gives you the best of both worlds. So I think this does a better job than Joust. A better job
No
than like
doubt.
your Joust map.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's something I have said every single time this has come up since Siege came out. It's Conquest Light. It's training wheels for the bicycle that is Conquest. It's
Okay.
just, you know, it's in between. You take Arena, and Arena teaches you how to press your buttons. You play Assault. Assault teaches you what the other gods do that you're not
Yep.
used to playing against. You play Siege. You learn how to secure jungle camps, jungle buffs, and lane a little bit. You play Conquest. That's the real game. Now all of a sudden, you put them all together.
Okay. I like it. So outside of that, in this patch, we also had an adjustment, which I think is a pretty big deal. And within the gameplay, all healing reduction abilities on gods should now stack with healing reduction from items.
Massive big deal.
Hello, Sobek and Chunga.
Yes.
Without a doubt. So I'll throw it to you, FG, first. You know, what are your thoughts on this adjustment, and how does this affect some of the god selection now?
So I'm excited that people realize that Sobek has a healing debuff.
Yeah,
like
right.
a lot of people never knew that. So I'm excited that people actually know that now. But I'll take a step back and say that I always thought they stacked. Like I thought I was always stacking them together. When I bought like Divine Ruin on Chang'e, I always thought it was 90%. I didn't have my calculator busted out so I can actually see it in game, but I just
Sure.
thought it was 90%. And now when you see what 90% actually looks like, when you run up to an Aphrodite in the soul lane, slap her in the face, and she tries to heal with her birds, and you're like, beep, like that, like, oh, this is what 90% looks like. So I think it's very interesting, and I kind of hinted on this before to on my show, Smite Meta Casual News.
Yep.
Is that I think they saw how Osiris was interacting with healers, because Osiris has a 100% healing debuff, and I think they saw that. I think they liked how it worked, and I think they said, you know what, let's throw it into the game full bore. I actually don't think it was a bug. I don't think it was an oversight. I think it was just something they saw with Osiris, and they said, let's test it out for everybody.
That's interesting, the timing of that, like as you talked about with Osiris, you know, and his introduction into the game, and then it becomes a little more relative. I mean, I like it because we like this week saw a little more Sobek in the competitive scene, which we haven't seen in quite some time. He's not someone that you see all the time, but I see you shaking your head a little bit there, F. Dot. What are you thinking there, bro?
So much research had nothing to do with the healing stuff. It's just the fact that Eonic exists. Eonic and Durgius are guardian players. They're support player. They're guardian players. Durgius will pick Kumbhakarna over a warrior. He will pick Geb over a warrior. They're just guardian players, and Eonic's the same way. He's gonna pick Sobek Athena over most of the war, and with the exception of Wukong, you know, Odin is unique and brings things to the table. Wukong just, and I'm gonna use Durgius's words here. Wukong just defines the support role. He does everything that you need a support to do.
I agree.
Knock up, CC, poke. It's just mobility. It's
And
just
that little bit of
stupid.
and a decent amount of damage as well. which is
I
a
was
nice
gonna,
thing.
I was gonna, yeah, when you started to say a little bit of damage, I was gonna reach over and smack you. Magic Cudgel hits really hard, and it's always off cooldown. But
Level Magic
yeah,
Cudgel
no,
first,
yeah.
go.
With the exception of Wukong, I think I think Sobek's resurgence is just due to the fact that we have players that really value Guardians.
Yeah.
But Chung-Ah will definitely get a rise in play, and I think we may see a rise in Sobek play. It's just the difference is Guardians. I mean, I love Sobek's zoning ability with his ultimate, and his
Okay.
ability to control is is second to none almost. But
Yeah.
the transition to the late game with the Warriors, who just continue doing more and more damage, as opposed to the supports, which are just still doing the same amount of crowd control, is an awkward conversation to have. So I think Sobek goes into the late game a little less effectively as Warriors or some of the other Guardians like Bacchus, who just continue to do more damage.
Okay. What about you on the other side there? What are your
I agree
thoughts,
with that.
FG? Okay. Any last comments on
Completely agree with Sobek nuts. Yeah, Sobek is really really good during that laning phase though, just because I'm gonna kind of talk between tournament and casuals, right?
Okay, go for it.
Just Sobek's presence just alters the game when you're in that laning phase, right? And this is a shout out to my boy F. It's like Dwight Howard in the middle of the lane. Like even though he might not get a block or he might not get a steal or rebound, just him being there changes what everyone else does. It's so annoying to be sitting there in front of a Sobek knowing that the only thing he's focusing on is flipping you backwards. Like, and you're in your AMC, for example, and you're like, this is going to suck the entire time, and you just play differently.
Yeah.
But that doesn't translate very well into the late game. Just flipping one person sometimes screws your team over, right? You flip somebody into the fight and it starts, and that flip was the reason why you lost the team fight.
Well, unintentional engage for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
we saw last week somebody playing Fenrir pick up an Odin, bringing the Odin to the center of the team, and then Odin ringed everybody in. Was like, "All right, fine, pick me up, bro." And that's the same
Thank you.
effect that a Sobek can have. You know,
Yeah.
you flip the wrong guy, and all of a sudden, it's a big issue. So, but oh man, FG, you're so on point with that reference. Like, it's just you're sitting in lane and you have to be behind your minions. You have to have your minions screen the pull for you. Otherwise, you're gonna take a lot of poke. So he completely changes the way that works, but he doesn't change the way you play anything else. When you're trying to steal an objective against an Odin, you are careful of that. You know, when you try to steal an objective against a Chalk, you gotta watch out for the silence. You know, when you steal an objective against a Sobek,
You don't worry about it.
what do you do?
There's water on the ground. Oh wow, this is terrible.
Yeah, like, what do? You get zoned out if you're trying to come directly into it.
Yeah.
And you got to nail it on point, otherwise you're gonna get tail whipped. But, you know, it's not that big a deal compared to like 2 knockups from Wukong, an Odin ring with you know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, for sure. So let's move on and talk about the next topic. And I think this is really interesting because 2 weeks ago, we had Wolfie on the show. And we were talking about Bastet. And we were talking about the balance of Bastet. And this was before any adjustments were made to her. And we were talking about, hey, like right now when she goes ahead and pounces in, there's no when she jumps into that commitment, there's nothing that she's committing to because she can jump out so quickly. So there isn't as much risk when she jumps in with the commitment of pounce. And we talked a lot about that. Wolfie had bounced some ideas off of us as well. We had talked a little bit about it. And we had some adjustments made to pounce, which I think are the more important ones to Bastet, or at least a start to the adjustments. Bastet can no longer pounce back while under the effect of crowd control. This is huge, and I hope people understand that. Like, you go ahead and throw Poseidon cripple down on Bastet, all of a sudden she's stuck in place. She's not bouncing back to where she was. She can't escape so easy. She isn't able to jump in, go ahead and do that razor whip or anything, and then bounce out real quickly without committing to any damage or without committing to the fight. On top of that, Bastet is now CC immune for 1 second after she lands from the initial pounce. She can still pounce back for up to 4 seconds, but is only guaranteed being able to do it for 1 second of that CC immunity. So literally it's like pounce in, and I don't know the timing, if you can literally pounce, if you could get off an ability and pounce out before it's affected or not. I want to say no. I want to say you can't really do it, but I haven't tested it. What are you guys' thoughts on this change to pounce for Bastet? I'll throw it to you first, FG.
I think Hi-Rez Bart talked about this on the last Face Off episode there.
Mm-hmm.
Another shameless plug. The timing doesn't, and I haven't tested it either. So
Yeah.
F dot, if you have other information on there, I don't know if you can do more than just what you might be able to do Razor Whip and Razor Claws, maybe, or pop the
Yeah.
cats and then Razor Whip, and that's pretty much
Yeah,
it.
you
You can't
can-
do all three, or
Yeah,
can you?
you can get the dot and the slow off if you're really fast. Can't
Hmm.
really get the cats in with anything else.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. So that, I mean, I think you used the right words there, Octane. Is just that this was an adjustment, not necessarily a nerf or
Yeah.
a buff. It just kind of changes the way Pounce works, and it allows her to be punished. And I like it, but at the same time, it kind of gives her a little bit more freedom than she had before, because now you can't CC her when she's in your face for that 1 second, just
Yeah.
to knock her up or do something, right, to slow her down. Can't do it anymore. So
Yeah, I mean,
we'll
but
see.
I can see the benefit because I mean, in the past you were able to pounce in, throw out a few abilities, run around for a few seconds, and then pounce out, and it was like, all right, you know, compared to you pounce in, sure, I'll throw a chain on you as Ares, like maybe today, or throw a whirlpool under your feet, and then all of a sudden, hey, we can go ahead and focus you, and we can also add another layer of CC on top of you to not allow you to pounce out. So, what are your thoughts on that F dot in regards to the pounce and kind of what we talked about with Wolfie versus what we saw?
It's a straight buff.
Okay.
It's a straight buff. You know, she's crowd control immune for that first second. It's cool. It fits with the character. I like the idea of get in, get out. Meow. You know, that's
Yeah.
the whole idea behind the character. In and out. Meow. You know, get one thing off and then come back out. Meow. But it's really obnoxious.
I like this.
I think it's really potent. I think it's really powerful. And a Bastet that jumps in, uses an ability, hits beads, and
Yeah.
uses the rest of her abilities, and then jumps back is rough.
Yeah. No.
I think the cat change was a buff to good players
Mhm.
that use Bastet the way she's supposed to be used. Pounce, bleed slow, unpounce.
Mhm.
Wait. Pounce, bleed slow, pounce. Wait. Pounce, cats. Wait. You know, like I think that's a thing.
Okay.
So it'll adjust the way she's played, but I think she'll be just as strong,
Okay.
if not stronger.
Okay. Well, on top of that, you know, on top of, as we talked about, adjustments versus nerfs versus buffs, the Razor Whip, the casting time has been increased from 0.2 to 0.35, and the damage been reduced, actually. At the bottom end, you know, it was 30, now it's 25, and at the top end, it was 110, now it's 105. What are your thoughts on the adjustment there, FG? Do you think it was necessary, or do you think this was just to coincide with the pounce changes?
Yeah, you're not going to feel these. Like, Bastet's kit is what makes her really, really strong.
Yep.
Her damage is always great, but her kit, the way that she can get in, get out, get those early game kills, get a nice lead is the reason why she's so strong. I don't feel those numbers, to be honest with you.
So it doesn't matter, really. I mean, the kit is what makes her so viable, is what you're saying, not necessarily the
Yeah,
time,
absolutely.
not necessarily the timing for everything.
Yeah, there's certain gods in this game, even if you change their numbers, are still going to be potent, and I think Bastet is one of them.
Okay, cool. Outside of that, any last things you guys want to talk about from this patch that you feel were worth discussing on the show today? I mean, there were a lot of changes in regards to fixes, there are a few little odd and ends here with Siege added, miscellaneous adjustments, some stuff within League, but nothing, at least I felt, that was astronomical or good to talk about right now. But anything that you guys thought that maybe I looked over? I'll take the silence as a nope.
I don't know. Are we going to see Osiris? We're going to see Osiris next tourney?
Yeah, we should.
I think so.
That'll be the end of the 2-week waiting period.
Got a couple buffs this time. Maybe.
I don't think we'll see him in EU, and I think we will see him in NA.
Now, why do you say that? NA versus EU.
He reminds me a lot of Nemesis.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
And EU doesn't care about Nemesis at all. NA puts Nemesis as a higher priority pick.
Okay. I like it.
And I think the kits and what they bring to the party kind of resemble this. They're similar to each other. You know, they're basic attack based gods that have interesting abilities that can work in the grand scheme of things with a more involved team. But at the end of the day, there are other options. So I think NA will buy chins and abuse that and love playing Osiris, see him in the jungle, and EU will be like, I don't care.
Okay. I think it's a good point. Good point. What about you, FG? Any last
Osiris
thoughts?
is his small skirmish ability is his small skirmish ability, Osiris is so good. Like I'm talking about like fights in the jungle with this, 2 or 3 guides right there. Just his tether is so good. Because you have to respect it. You either have to leave, turn your back and run away from him, or you stay and fight and you get stunned at the very end. So I'm very curious to see how it's going to pan out, because a lot of these the tournaments, there's so many small skirmishes that decide the game before the big team fights that happen towards the end of the match. So Osiris can be really potent. I'm kind of curious to see people better than me play him right now.
Yeah, right. Definitely.
Not a lot of them out there.
Yeah, right.
JK,
right.
JK.
That's right. Before we go ahead and move into our next little section here, guys, I want to remind you that this show is available on iTunes. So if you guys are interested in checking out the audio-only version, go over to iTunes, look up the Smite Update. You'll find all 51 episodes over there. Tomorrow morning, I'll have this show up there, and it's great for on the way to work, if you're at the gym, or you're on the train, you need something to listen to, and so check it out. It's also available on Android. You just have to have a podcast app, excuse me, and look up Smite Update. It'll find the RSS feed, and you guys can check it out. The VODs are also available on YouTube. Look at the very bottom of the screen as well. So if you want to go back and check out, the show actually started, if you guys are just finding it for the first time, the show started, the first episode, I think, was when Open Beta was introduced. I think that's when it was. Yeah, I think that's when it was. So check it out. So let's move into F.'s favorite portion of the show. This is community questions. And I'll put the link in chat for you folks at home if you guys want to go ahead and check these out. FG3000, you should see the login credentials for Ask.fm on the shared doc. Did you get them? Was that a yes? I can't hear you.
I did. Thank you.
You did. Okay, perfect.
Right now.
Perfect. Good deal. So what we do, guys, is we take a few questions from chat. Unfortunately, we can't answer all of them, but we take a few questions from chat and we go ahead and answer them via ask.fm/TheSmiteUpdate. I'll go ahead and post that link in chat for you fine folks if you kind of want to get a last few ones in here, and we'll take a look. I'll throw it over to FG3000 first to take our first question. So go ahead and take a look there.
There's 179 questions.
Nah, somebody forgot to clear them all out from last week.
Wow.
I'll throw that over to my co-host here, who wasn't,
Your boy.
That's right.
Well, I mean, I don't play this game, so
that's
I
right.
have to do other things.
You've only played host twice so far, so you're still getting warmed up. Still getting down, which I'm very thankful that you're able to do that. It works out very well. A little less stress for me, so it works out well when I have to go away. So we'll take a look here at a few of these questions that are going through. I mean, you guys can ask questions regarding Smite or other topics around that. We always like having the fun ones in there as well. And the question that we like the best for the night, we'll go ahead and reward you a lovely Smite skin. So we'll have to take a look here and see what we find. And FG, let me know when you find the one you want from this week, because I know there's quite a few 100+ from last week.
All right, I'm on it. I'll answer one really quick.
Okay.
Hindu Man says, does the FG stand for Fire Giant? It does not, sadly. I was named before Smite.
I know what it stands for.
Truth, and we'll just leave it like that.
Yeah,
does
right.
not stand for Fire Giant.
All right, so F. If you have one already, you can go first. Doesn't matter. Whoever's got one right off the back, let's just jump into it.
I mean, I'm still looking around.
Okay.
Do you guys sit?
What? You all right there?
I saw that. The person that wrote that question is feeling really good right now. You guys sit or stand. That's all I'm going to say.
Let's see. I love those BM ones. I love it.
Yes, it's funny because it actually is a BM question.
Yep. Get it?
It is. I'll go ahead and paste that there in chat. Let's move on to the next question. I'll paste the question in the chat.
Oh boy. Which role do you think is the easiest role to play well and get to a competitive level, and why?
Ooh.
Man, I think. Wow. That's actually, I read it out loud thinking I had an answer, but now I don't.
Well, that's a few part question. So let's start out the first part. Which is the easiest role to learn how to play well? So I'll throw it over to you first, F. Dot. What role do you think is best for? I guess would be new players.
Well, when I'm teaching new players, I always just lane with them. They play Hunter. That said, I think the easiest way to learn is play solo Ra. You sit on solo island as long as you're in North America, because North America we don't really care about solo island. Kind of see your thing. Europe they like ward because they get ganked and stuff. In America you just kind of lane for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
But in general, I think the easier role to learn, it's tough. I'd probably say Hunter. The thing is, Hunter trades.
Yeah.
Hunter trades the importance of decision making for raw technical talent. Like, if you don't hit your basics, you lose. But you also don't really got to think too good. You just got to sit in lane and press left click. Like, that's what you do. And then occasionally, you call up your Apollo chariot and dunk on the middle laner. Like, that's what you do as Apollo, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm downsizing it. Of course, you have to make decisions of when to split push and when to be in the team fight, but in juxtaposition to a mid-jungle support solo mindset, Hunter's easy.
Hunter is the weakest link.
For me, I like the solo lane, and the reason I say that for new players is it teaches new players. I feel like it teaches new players the value of not overcommitting. Laning one-on-one, I think, is really important. Also, it teaches players to constantly be keeping an eye on that jungle because you are the only one in your lane. So it teaches you, hey, and you'll learn very quickly, the ganks are real when you're in solo lane. And so it teaches you, to not only overcommit, but also to be responsible for yourself. Getting those wards in jungle on the solo side is necessary in order to stop the ganks. So, I mean, me personally, when you're learning the game, I feel like solo lane, for me at least, and what I recommend for people is really good to learn how to play because in dual lane, you're depending on someone else. You're always depending on your partner. And if you're the hunter, you're always depending on your partner to get those wards out. So you're never really self-reliant. But I feel like solo is definitely out there.
If you're depending on your partner to put the wards out, you're doing it wrong, Octane.
Exactly.
You should always be buying wards.
Yep.
You buy 2 wards for your lane.
50 gold.
It's 100 gold
Yep.
total. It's totally not a big deal. Every single hunter you watch will buy wards. It's a thing. Especially after, let's see. So you get a ward before the game starts by the opponent blue. Then you're in lane, and that's your only ward. Support rotates out 3 minutes, gets mids, gets other stuff, continues rotating, comes back to lane around the 4-minute mark. Your blue ward has been gone for a minute. They're going to double ward low and high. Then they leave again at 6 minutes. That means you have 1 minute and 25 seconds worth of warding. After that's done, they're still roaming. They're probably helping solo lane. You're going to back for the second time around the 7-8 minute mark. You have no wards, and your support isn't coming to lane anytime soon. Do you just die and blame your support for playing the game correctly? No, you ward. You gotta think of these timestamps and where your support is going to be at any time. So,
Sure.
While you do depend on your support for a little bit, warding is not always the case. You definitely want to keep wards yourself. I always like to ward high. I know Moji likes to ward in the middle. Every hunter has their spot to ward. But I wanted to talk about. Andy Man said confirms that man sits in lane and right click. If that confirms.
I mean,
first of all, it's left click. That's the basic attack. But to be fair, when I totally am playing casuals with my friends and I'm playing hunter, I totally I'm just gonna zap man it real quick, and that means I just PvE. I'm just gonna go sit in my lane. Y'all can fake a fight. Y'all can 4v5 and kind of bait. And I'll just split push the whole time. And then when somebody comes, I'll just beat them in a duel. That's what Zapman does. He's like, I dare you to come take care of me. And then I will beat you if you send one person. You got to send more than one. Otherwise, I'm going to win. And that's That's why, I tweeted it yesterday. Even when Dignitas loses, Zapman is a pleasure to watch. I love to watch Zapman play the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like when we were at the Smite launch event, I feel like the entertainment aspect of watching Dignitas play really came down to a lot that Zapman and Lassus did.
Oh,
It was so entertaining. I mean, Lassus on jungle, amazing, but then
no doubt.
just some of the split pushing, and stuff like that we saw out of Zapman. So, I mean, they're very high skilled players, but also when you're live and you're seeing that stuff live, it's just like, it is the coolest thing in the world to be a Smite fan and see the crowd go nuts when you see Zapman do something ridiculous. And just as F.it said, don't send one person to kill Zapman. Because 9 out of 10 times they're gonna die.
And part of that, I hate to be on the Dignitas love train. I really
why not? There's lots of room, dude. Come on on. Sit next to me.
Honestly, there isn't lots of room. Everyone loves Dig, but for good reason. I am pretty unbiased, to be fair, when I call my stuff. I have no problem saying Dignitas is gonna lose. But as far as pleasure to watch, man. I always bring this up. I talk a lot to people around other esports. Speaking of which, if you're out there watching today, Golden Boy, I saw you watching the SWC today. Thank you. You're awesome. He's one of the people, but a lot of other people in and around other esports. One of the cool things that a lot of other esports have that Smite doesn't have just yet are the player cams.
Yeah,
and that, of course, it's all a process. There's a reason for that. But Dignitas is one of the cooler teams that I got to witness live at the event. Zapman secured a triple kill, and there's rules against standing up and yelling, but you just see from behind the computer, you just saw woo. The hands just go up.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah. Lassus, after doing well, was just like, yeah, pumping the fist. And the crowd goes wild. There's a lot of swagger, for lack of a better term, on that team.
Yeah.
And they do it so well. We're a very lucky scene to have a team like Dignitas in our community. And with that said, I think there's a lot more of that in the community with this second season coming up, and I'm excited to see all the confidence coming out from the teams.
I'm waiting to see them put into place at some point player boosts where the players can get up and get rowdy, when a big play happens and they get all hyped up in regards to they stand up and get pumped. Or I'm just waiting for Lassus and Zap to make a big play, get up and chest bump, boom.
And then Bart comes out and gives him a tech. Hey, excessive celebration next.
Excessive
celebration. Sit in base for 2 minutes.
10K fine. 10K fine. Power play. Yeah, for sure. Without a doubt. So the second part of that question is, and this is interesting, and it's so which role do you think is the role which is the easiest role to learn and how to play well and get to a competitive level? I don't necessarily think there is one role where it's hey, master this role and it's going to be an easier route to the competitive competitive level. Do you agree?
To get noticed, maybe like jungle or hunter, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit harder to get noticed as a really, really solid support player.
Yeah.
I think mid's another hard one because you rely on a jungler quite a bit. So you can be a really, really great mid, but if you're always playing with junglers that aren't taking care of you, aren't warding, aren't helping you out in that mid, your numbers could look worse. You might not. You might just be glossed over.
Yeah.
But I think jungler and hunter would probably be the easiest ways to be noticed. But what do I know?
This is interesting because I answered this question without knowing the second part.
Okay.
So I think Hunter is easiest to learn the basics of.
Okay.
But very difficult. I think Hunter and Solo share this phenomena where they're the easiest roles to learn the game of Smite.
Hunter and Solo. Okay.
In solo lane, you just lane for 25 minutes. And Hunter kind of does the same damn thing, with the added bonus of don't die too much because you got Heartseeker.
Yeah, but is Solo the most forgiving though? As a new player, is Solo the most forgiving in regards to what I mean? And that's where it's
I don't think it is at all.
No,
exactly.
Not at all. Not at
exactly.
all. But as a newer player, I think solo lane, you might lose in 11 minutes, but it's the mid. You will die 8 times for every 2 deaths you die in solo lane, but your tower will still be up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think Hunter and Solo are the easiest to learn the game, so to speak. I think they are the hardest to set yourself away from the crowd with a competitive mindset. We look at solo laners in EU. Well, why are they so much stronger than American solo laners? And it's not skill. As far as like raw mechanics, I think Omega is very damn good. I think Anatoly is very damn good. I think they're mechanically good. But when NQ rotates, people die, period, end of story. There's no question. When Xayah does something, and that's the intangible. Yes, you can boil it down to rotations and efficiency and, kills per momentum or whatever you want to put a number on it. It doesn't really matter to me. The Othello concept on solo lane is very real. Takes a minute to play, a minute to learn, a lifetime to master. Mm-hmm. I feel like that really resonates well with respect to the solo lane and the hunter role. A little bit less, but with respect to the hunter role, I think support. I think support is harder to learn well because there are a number of intricacies in that role. But if you put yourself forth and you do that, and you become one of the supports that always have Hog 3 at 11 minutes, that have your ward timers in your brain, that make it over to solo lane without sacrificing enough on the left-hand side of it, etc., 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 you will be noticed very quickly. So I think support is probably, once you've learned the game and you're learning the intricacies of a role and trying to find your way and shove yourself into a competitive position, I think support, A, because it's underplayed, and B, because when you play with a good support, you know it, and so does the other team. I think it's easier to get noticed once you commit to that role in support. And yeah, I really think it belongs to support. Jungle, yeah, but there's like 80 million junglers. Jungler reminds me of shortstop. Every kid that thought they were cool played shortstop, right? And it's like kind of the more difficult position. That's what jungler to me feels like. But support, a great support. All 9 players in the lobby with you will, at the end of the game, be like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Okay.
FG, any last comments for that question?
That was beautiful. I like it. That was a long one. I can't believe that was one question.
I know. Trust me. Yeah. That's why we only take like 3.
That was range limit, by the way.
Range limit. All right, keep note of that for me. Keep note of that. Mm-hmm. Moving forward, FG, do you have a question? Or do you want me to move on with mine?
Go for it. That was actually my question. So I think it's your turn.
Oh, okay. That was your question. I'm sorry. I thought it was F-Dots. So I will jump onto that. And I like this question, but I want to... This has been asked a few times here and there, but I want to talk about the overall. It says, if there was an NA versus EU All-Star game, who would be on the rosters and who would win? I don't necessarily want to sit here and name off like the individuals for that roster, but what I do want to talk about is, and I want to twist this question and talk about, what are your thoughts on Hi-Rez after the Smite World Championship Series, inviting 5 players from each scene and hosting a online but all-star event, but it'll be a LAN event without the public being invited. So it literally would be a small little thing that they could maybe host in their office. It would be online. It would be a LAN event, but it would be private. MLG's done this kind of stuff where they go ahead,
a real all-star game.
Yeah, they do a real where they go ahead and invite they invite in the teams to like Hi-Rez headquarters, and they stream it live, but they host it at their location. So it's an online event for everyone else except for the participants. What are your thoughts on this type of event, like an all-star type of event?
F-Dot's not digging it.
I know. I don't understand why. I really don't understand why.
I think after the tournament, after the season's over, and that's that lull, right? Yeah. I think it's actually a pretty decent idea, and maybe F-Dot's thinking about like the Pro Bowl and like the All-Star game where nobody really plays their hardest because they don't want to be injured. You don't have that in esports. Everybody can play as hard as they want. I'm looking at F-Dot over here. It'll probably be more exciting to see like who the community picks who's the best mid in NA. Everyone votes in this big, huge, vote off that's in the Smite client, and then they all get together and play, 5 versus 5. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, there is that time where there's nothing going on, and we're doing like arena.
Arena tournaments.
Yeah,
Right F dot. Right F dot.
Hey, don't bash the Alienware Arena Cup.
I work for Alienware, so I'm cool with it.
Oh, right. Technically, Mr. Dell, you work for Alienware now?
That's right.
Yeah, I'm Dell, but close enough.
Oh,
we own them. We own them. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Totally. That's like the guy that like cleans up at Madison Square Garden saying he works for the Knicks.
Yeah, right.
I work for the Knicks.
Okay.
Like I see Carmelo every now and then. Me and him we talk.
That's how you get your DX racer over here, Mr. Expensive.
I know, right?
But tell me why. All
right,
it's a nice chair,
tell us why. Tell us why you don't like the idea of after the World Championship Series, they don't go ahead and throw this together.
No, I like the idea. Why the hell would you not invite the public? What's wrong with you?
Because of the fact that if you did a LAN event, how hard is it going to be to go ahead and do like a best of 5, and it's only 5 games for an all-star game? That literally or a best of, you know what I mean? Like there isn't much to it.
Content.
But I feel like you can't really host a full-out big-ass LAN event for like a best of 5.
All right, watch this.
Okay.
That people fly and spend plane ticket
this.
money for.
Watch
this. I know. All right, do it.
Best of 5, 5v5 conquest.
Okay. Yep.
Random mode, siege mode.
Oh, stop
assaults, arenas. Okay, let me break down. Wait,
is this coming from the guy that's like arena facepalm, siege facepalm, and now you're like, let's mix it in?
Because it's All-Star Weekend. It's All-Star Weekend. Let me break down what the NBA does. Okay? They have a game. They have a celebrity game. They have a passing challenge. They have a slam dunk contest. They have a skills challenge, which challenges ball handling. Let me break down what the NHL does. They have a game. They have a second game. They have a skills challenge. They have a shootout. They have all sorts of stuff like that. Let me break down what the NFL does, etc., etc. Let me break down what the LCS does. The LCS has regions versus regions versus regions, and they all play together. They have a hexakill match, which is individuals. They played Earth mode, which is no cooldowns, low cooldowns, infinite mana. They did all bunch of things. They created a situation. The LCS All-Star event lasted 4 or 5 days, was hosted in Paris, 10,000 plus people went.
Okay, let's correct it.
You're telling me.
Let's correct it. Hang on. Let's correct it. If we were to do a LAN like that, what I would want to see then is them to bring in like 15 of the top players on the NA and EU on each side. Okay, hang on. Just let me finish. 15 on each side, and then they, as an NA team, have to go ahead and vote as a team to decide who they're going to put in each situation. Like, hey, we have a siege. We have a siege going on. So as the 15 players, they get together, discuss who they want to put in, and then they put in their, you know what I mean? Kind of like how they did the team league. Like for me, from a StarCraft 2 background, they did a team league, and like they'd be like, okay, we're going to have this guy go first, and then this guy's going to play this guy because he's better with Protoss versus Zerg and stuff like that. Like that would be cool. Like there'd be like a 1 versus 1, there'd be a siege, there'd be arena. Like I can see that. If we went ahead and expanded the invite list and made like 15, I think 20, you're getting a little much, but I think 15 would be perfect. I think it'd be awesome. I mean, I'd fly down for it if they did.
I think 15 is the entire competitive community. I think we need a couple more players for 15 for each side.
Yeah.
But I agree with that. I like that idea of, it's sort of like, I'm going to date myself a little bit, but real world road rules.
Oh!
Yes.
You get this group of people, right? And then
MTV.
and then you're like, all right, Jessica and Tech Money, you're going to go out and do the joust. Shouts to FG for laughing at the Tech Money, by the way. I hope y'all remember Tech Money.
That is funny.
But seriously, that's the, I admit, like, All-Star stuff can be so much fun because there's so much stuff you could do. There's so many alternative game modes that aren't cool. Like, I don't care about 1v1 Joust. It's an unbalanced game mode. Everybody knows it's unbalanced.
Yep.
But I would totally spend $30 to watch Barracuda and Zapman joust.
Yeah.
I would totally love to watch Funball and Zapman 1v1 joust on LAN. I would love that. And I don't care about joust.
Yeah.
I would love to watch, 5 of the best mages per NA and EU play Assault together. I would love to watch that go down.
Yeah.
That would be cool. And I think there's a lot of content there. And frankly, with respects to esports in general, any opportunity that you have for a LAN, I understand money, etc.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
any opportunity that you have for a LAN, you got to milk it.
Yeah.
And I think the All-Star weekend is perfect. I think it works out. So you don't need a break in the middle of the season. Like All-Star weekend for most major sports winds up in the middle of the season in San Francisco.
Do you think that could work in Smite though?
There's
Like-
no reason to. There's
Okay.
no reason to.
Okay.
There's no reason to. But we have like a wide off season. We have a month or two off season essentially, and I love the community tournaments, and I want more of that. I want that to continue. I think the Alienware Arena Cup is fantastic. It brings out a lot of other people. It highlights other type of games. But if Hi-Rez could monopolize one more weekend for an All-Star weekend,
Yeah.
oh, please, holla at me. Like, I would love to watch that. It's just more content to put on and get you engaged and get you to follow the soap opera, the drama, the alternative storyline that is esports. Because there's a lot more to esports than just who won this week.
Yeah.
And I love it.
So I think Hi-Rez is going to hire the 3 of us as event coordinators and organizers for the All-Star game. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Just give me a VIP pass again.
That's
That's all I
right,
want,
yeah.
Octane. VIP
Real
pass.
talk.
Hey,
real talk,
FG,
real
don't-
talk. Real talk.
That's right.
I would love to do that.
Exactly. I think it'd be awesome.
And I would do a damn good job at it.
That's right. Hey, FG, why you got to tell everybody I'm giving you VIP passes, huh?
What?
You
You told him. I didn't say anything.
Oh, you're getting kicked out,
What are you
Octane.
talking about?
Octane hooking up FG and
I don't know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. So I think good conversation there. And let's throw it over to F. Dot to go ahead and pick up our last question here for the night, and then we'll kind of decide on what question we want to go with. But yeah, Smite All-Star Games. Here we go. It's coming.
I have a interesting. Do we have time? Because I have a what's it called? This is just a conversation. It's not really.
I have time. What about you, FG? What are you looking at for time?
I'm good.
All right,
Let's roll.
go for it.
So, because there might be another question. This is just a great talk.
Sure, go for it.
Didn't leave a name. By the way, I can't talk in chat, so Rip, you're not getting picked for anything. Sorry, bud. By the way, I can't talk in chat, but talk about esports in general. This person came from Call of Duty esports. Insert quick scope joke. Anyway, the X Games, the place where they have pro skaters and stuff, are hosting a Call of Duty tournament.
Yep.
And they can get X Game medals.
Yep.
I'm just
I
gonna
read
put this in
about.
chat.
Yeah, I read about
Sick.
this the
I
other
read that
day.
exactly as it was posted.
Yeah.
Don't slay me. But
Yeah.
it was really cool.
Yeah. So what that came out
You're in
about, I think,
Austin, too.
yeah, about 2 weeks ago, and I was following this a lot from MLG because they're going to be involved with it. It's going to be an MLG tournament that I have no clue how this got organized, but I think it's awesome, and it's a huge step for esports. And I was talking with somebody about this because they're like, "Oh, we don't need to be, put in that same category. We need to be separate, blah blah blah." And I disagreed. I was like, this is a huge step for esports. I think this is awesome to see the video game industry and the competitive side merging together. So what's going to happen is at the X Games, there is going to be, as F. Dot said, MLG will be hosting a Call of Duty tournament, and it will be side by side from the half pipe skating and stuff like that, and all the other stuff. I'm sorry, I was trying to think. What? Go, tell me, F. Dot. Say it. 'Cause I just got, like,
my
a brain
boy
fart.
Sickness Gaming in chat works at Micro Center. That's all I'm saying. You see it? Hey, F-Dot, you came to my job the other day. See that?
Oh, that's awesome! That's awesome! What?
All I'm saying, Sickness, is
made
my
it big.
stuff is still in the package with a receipt, and it's been 2 days.
Oh,
I can
jeez.
totally return and repurchase and give you some commission, baby.
That's right.
So, let me
So,
know.
anyways, back to the topic though. I hit like a brain fart there. Alongside with like BMX competition and stuff like that,
Yeah.
they'll be able to go ahead and earn like gold, silver, bronze, and I don't know the logistics in regards to like, is it going to be televised on television alongside that, or what?
So the way it's going to be happening, whatever the way it's going to be happening is They're not going to be televising any of the games. You can
Okay.
watch the games live on MLG.TV
Okay.
with, of course, the X Games subscription.
Yeah. Of course.
Because MLG is MLG.
Greedy,
In other
greedy.
events, but you can greedy.
Gotta make money though. I understand. You're not doing everything for free.
I'm not
saying.
saying the word greedy. I'm just not offering an alternative.
Right.
But so the way it's going to work is you're going to be able to watch. You're going to be able to watch. You're going to be able to watch the highlights live on ESPN. And I don't know if you guys remember, were into esports, or are old enough to be around. 2008, Halo was a part of the MLG, and they did the same thing. They didn't televise the games, but they televised the what's it called? They televised the highlights, the top 10, and it was very tongue-in-cheek. Like, you can Google it, and they had quality casters. It was like Jason Kaplan and somebody else. It was quality cast. Maybe it's 2010. My mistake. But
Okay.
What happened was, they got a kill, and they're like, and the ghost doesn't want to be overstepped, and they follow the guy jumped off the ghost and got a kill, and that's cool, and then they follow the ghost doing a backflip because that's funny, and they make Dorito jokes and stuff, and it was very I'm a gamer, this is funny, and it wasn't really hey, let's take this seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
It was kind of like a tongue-in-cheek, LOL video games. This time around, I get the idea that everybody involved understands that this is a real moneymaker.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody around understands that this is a big deal, should, something like this really work out. So I think that people are going to be a little more excited about this. I think the fans will actually care. I don't think anybody gave a crap when Halo did that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think.
Look at you, stopping dead in your tracks. You're so 5 minutes ago. Anyways, what he's going crazy about is the fact that Google and YouTube, there is rumors right now floating around that they are purchasing Twitch for $1 billion, and I'm not happy about it. I just saw
Strange
it come up.
Love is really upset about it.
I'm not happy about it
You can't
because
stream on YouTube anymore.
look what just happened on YouTube with all of the monetization going, destroying people's channels. All of a sudden on Twitch, you're going to be like, hey, I can't play music because I don't own it, or I'm not going to, my channel's going to get shut down. So, I don't know. Off topic, off subject, but yeah, I was just reading that article.
Yeah, that's what I was bugging out about. But basically, I mean, just to round up whatever the hell I was saying.
What were you? Look at you. So,
dude, this is a
Next game's good.
No, this is a big deal with respect to that. But I'm really sorry. I'm usually not that easily derailed. But with respect to the X Games, there's going to be a little more serious tone about it this time. I think Call of Duty is the perfect game, and if you want me to go into why I will, I think Call of Duty is the perfect game to highlight at the X Games.
Yeah,
and I think it's great for esports overall.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of industry awareness of that game all across the board when it comes down to your non-competitive casual video game players. They know what that is. You ask mom and pop, hey, you know what Call of Duty is? Have you heard it? Have you read it in the news? Whatever. They know exactly what it is. So just as F. had said, I think it's a good choice for that, and I think it's a big step for esports in general. I mean, it's moving in that direction. I know it's kind of not Smite focused that we're talking about right now, but we're talking about esports and we're talking about the scene, and I think it's a really good step in bringing that out there. Any thoughts from you, FG, regarding just kind of what's going on with the X Games in this?
There is an infographic out there, and I wish I knew this question was going to come up and I would actually have it. But there's an infographic out there where I don't agree with it, but it's really, really interesting that analysts are saying this, that they've said in 2016, which I don't believe this is going to happen. Let me go ahead and preface that they think that esports will be involved in the actual Olympics as well. So just the fact that people are talking about it is a big step, is what I'm saying. So I don't think it's going to be there, but it's huge that people are considering that.
It's one tournament. It's pretty much I mean, this is a very big test for esports to put it in the X Games. It's a very big test, and we'll have to see, how things go from there moving forward. So I'm really excited about that, without a doubt. I saw that the other week. Somebody brought it up at work, and I had a big conversation about it. But what are your thoughts? The guy I talked about with this subject had said, hey, I don't like the fact, or we should not be merging video game esports with public, television and stuff like that, because of the fact that, we have the viewership that is interested in watching it. It's not a focus for people that aren't interested, the general public. And what are your thoughts on that comment? Like those types of comments regarding, because there are some people that are like, no, like this is our scene. Like we don't need to be making it public. We don't need to be expanding it. Any thoughts on any of that?
Well, all right.
That just sounds crazy just by you saying it.
Listen, I come from the music scene originally.
Sure.
The rock music scene, which is like,
oh, you gotta say
everybody loves to use the word sellout. And it's made me cringe ever since I was like 11.
Okay.
And I never understood the idea behind, you're making money, that's so bad. Like, I don't get that mentality. I think you're stupid. Yeah. I respect the opinion of a lot of people that think esports doesn't need television. A lot of people think television is a dying thing, and they're sort of right. And a lot of people think that television is not necessary for esports to do what they do. Mm-hmm. And I think that's true. I think esports can do what they do through portals such as Twitch, Abuzu, Hitbox, MLG TV, etc. Mm-hmm. That said, if somebody wants to put me on television in front of hundreds of thousands, arguably millions of people, there's nothing wrong with that. And anybody that's sitting there saying, no, esports is organic from the whole Twitch community, get out of here and let me spread my oats. Because it's just sprinkles on the Sunday that's already there. There's nothing, you don't lose anything by going to TV. Nobody's saying, hey, yo, what up TV? You can't do YouTube no more. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. You might sign exclusivity contracts that say you can't, you can't stream every single game on Twitch for free because it's on ESPN. And
it's an alternative source, yep. Yeah.
But there's still going to be stuff on it. Like, it's still going to exist. Not everything is going to follow, like, an MLB TV model. Not everything is going to work that way. Television would be perfect. I would love to see... You know what I would love to see a sort of... I would love it all to work through Twitch, but of course that's not how it works. I would love to see, like, ESPN take on larger lands. Like sort of pay-per-view events for wrestling and stuff, like how they do that sort of thing. Like the larger events, put them on ESPN or something. And yeah, I'm sorry, dudes out there, people that are like, cut the cord. I haven't had cable for 3 whole months, and that means I'm better than you. Like, whatever, dude. You might have to pay up if you want to watch the Invitational 7, but is that a bad thing? Is it bad to pay for the things you want to ingest? Is it bad to give money back to the people that provide you with hours of content? Is it bad to let the people you like to watch eat dinner? I don't think so. So I think TV is a definite upside. I have no problem with looking at TV for esports, but I agree with the rest of the community that it doesn't need to happen. It would just be nice.
Yeah. That's a good point. Any comments on that, FG?
True story. When we were at the 200K, we were like, every single minute we were there, we were looking at TVs of Smite. And then we left the tournament and went to get pizza down the street, and we looked at a TV and it's like, oh, Smite's not on. So it would be really, really awesome to one day to just be able to like go to a bar. This is way out. To go to a bar, have a drink, and see Zapman like barreling in on a Titan, you know what I mean? And people would don't frown at it. They look at it just like they would see soccer or hockey or up there. That'd be awesome. So TV, why not? Why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's what's it called? I would absolutely love that. In New York, there's a couple of places called Barcraft where they'll have events called Barcraft where like they'll play the high octane StarCraft games live. You can come in. Of course, this is places like Brooklyn, land of the hipsters and nerds. So that exists. Pearly Bird out in chat saying he went to a B-Dubs, a Buffalo Wild Wings, and they had a Dota 2 tournament. That's awesome. Yeah. Somebody got fired for that, and they probably had the best night of their life. Straight, If I worked at B-Dubs, guess what would be on the big screen TV? Let's be real. Are we really gonna? There's a B-Dub close here. But I mean, as a sports fan, dude, it's phenomenal, and I yearn for the day. I think esports could, and I think that's the type of place that would make esports. I think that's the type of place that people need to turn to next. I think people need to turn to bars, franchised bars. I think people need to turn to places like Buffalo Wild Wings and say like, yo, give us the 32-inch in the corner. Just go to twitch.tv/Smite game. We don't even play ads, so you won't piss off your sponsors. You can put your own GD ads up there if you want. I don't even care. Just do your thing, but just show our product, you know? And people might show up and but there's so much room.
I feel like that, or the fact of bars like in Atlanta, they have like a Battle and Brew, where it's like a bar dedicated to video game esport related stuff. So I think it's one of the, like, I think both could work. Either we see a franchise start up where we start to see those more and more, and we start to see them more and more nationwide, and that would be awesome. So even like 50.
Patent it quick.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like all of a sudden, Battle and Brew has one in all the major cities. That'd be awesome. That'd be perfect. Or, and I think what would happen is if that occurred, then and there was enough ROI on that, I feel like then it would start to merge over into places exactly like what you're talking about, where it's in Buffalo Wild Wings, or it's in ESPN zone centers, or stuff like that. Like I feel like to get into that, exactly what FDot's talking about, it has to be proven by places like Battle and Brew. It has to be proven that it works and that it's successful, and it's worth it to say, let's take one television and dedicate it. And there's a lot of that in like, and I always reference StarCraft 2 because that's where I came from, that scene. There's a lot of that where they do like bar crafts for MLG and DreamHack, and they literally have like packets put together to go to bars to show them, to say, listen, give us a television, or give us or give us, even if it's during the week, you know, hey, allow us to bring in your bar. I can bring in dedicated, exactly like 100 people have committed to coming and just doing that. So I think it's a good, just as you talked about, good first steps there.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. There's a place in Astoria called Barcade. And it's exactly what it sounds like. And I remember speaking to somebody at PAX, I believe it was, that said they wanted to open up another an esports bar. So you're right. It's up to the little small guys first. Yeah. And, you know, I would expect places near, like, Battle and Brews in Atlanta, near a whole bunch of gaming companies. That makes sense. Yeah. You go to the Bay Area, where everyone is like 25 working for a gaming company. Yeah. I'm sure you'll find a little bit more there. Yep. So, you know, it's a budding scene, but I think it's definitely something that could do well. And it excites me. I think there's a lot of potential out there, you know, because there's a lot of interest in sports for the non-sport of it all. My buddy Ryan is a game developer. He has his own iPad game. He works for Rumble Entertainment, which makes games based on the Unity engine, which is all like in your browser. Okay. You know, so he's a big, you know, I know him. He's my raid leader from 11 years ago. Okay. And he's one of my best friends still. He's just a big nerd. Like, he's a huge nerd, not into sports whatsoever. I went out to San Francisco to visit him last year during the NBA Finals, and I was like, there's no way we're not watching this. I don't care that you're not into sports. Like, we're watching the finals. And he's like, I don't do sports. And I was like,
it's like this guy right here.
Hey! I got my sad Philadelphia Eagles, but whatever.
All right.
And they're terrible draft picks. Okay.
Calm down. But you know, so we get to the finals, and for those of you uninitiated, it was the Miami Heat versus the San Antonio Spurs, and the whole thing about it, the way I got him into it, I didn't, you know, make anything. It's all there's a second storyline besides just scoring points, getting touchdowns, and tackling the shortstop with whatever sport you're watching. You know, so the storyline behind the Spurs and the Heat are sort of like the monsters, the bad guys of the league. They sort of bought all their talent. LeBron James is the inarguable best player in the world. He signed on to them for money to go with the best players. And then the Spurs have just won for 15 years straight. They don't really trade for big names. They're a family. The coach is just like a dad. Sometimes he calls a timeout, shrugs, and walks away and lets the players talk. Like, much different dynamic. Who's going to win? The longtime family nurtured team or Hollywood Heat? And it's a big storyline, and all of a sudden he gets into it. So-and-so team wins game 1. Well, game 2, they have the momentum. It's going to be in this city. And, there's an allure. There's an underlying story besides LeBron James slam dunks. Tim Duncan is real tall. Like Tim Duncan likes to play methodically and fundamentally. And because of that, he plays a lot of StarCraft and Magic the Gathering. You can see that in his game. These are conversations you have. Yeah. These make it exciting. These people are real. You bring Smite into it, a lot of the NA scene has been inbred. Snipe and Dig have had rivalries. They've been on the same team. The TSM Cloud9 rivalry is very real. They traded hunters. Smek versus Youngbase. Some people are salty about that. There's so many storylines to go into. That content like, not just what we have right here, but Face Off, content like Smite Talk, content like Ban Zeus, all this other stuff just sprinkles more life into the scene, and you give a slot to that, whether it's television or otherwise, and it's enough to breathe life into it to people that really don't care how much physical damage the Fire Giant has at 17.5 minutes. There's a lot of reasons to watch outside of what's better, Transcendence per point of gold or Heartseeker at the 19.5-minute mark. There's a lot more reasons to watch Smite than just the intricacies of the game, and this sort of broadcasting sort of opens it up. So I like the idea of having more stuff. Hell yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
All right, well, cool. Well, let's go ahead here. I think that rounds out our community questions, without a doubt. I think we ran like an hour on community questions, so awesome. Without, for sure. So, 3 questions. FG, which question do you think deserves the God skin?
Oh man, this is a lot of pressure.
So we had kind of the question on the All Stars,
X Game
the
one,
role one, or the the role in regards to learning the role, the X Game, or the All Stars one. F dot, what do you think?
Oh wait a minute, All Stars. I forgot about that one. Change my vote. All Star one. Sorry.
F dot, what about you?
What about you? What are you gonna pick?
My vote is All Stars for sure. I think it has a huge benefit, but
you already outvoted then, I guess.
Then I'll vote for X Games because I think and All Stars will win. Yeah. But I think X Games and All Stars really prompted some of the better conversation we've had on our show.
Yeah, no, for sure. I have to figure out a way to contact this guy because he didn't put his Twitch info. You didn't put your Twitch info.
X Games.
One thing I do want to say while you're trying to figure all that out is talk about with respect to TV and what's on TV. Last night, a friend of mine, last night I was watching Arena Football on ESPN2. The San Jose SaberCats versus who cares? The San Jose SaberCats have 2,000 total Twitter followers.
Okay.
Let that sink in real quick.
2,000?
2,000 Twitter followers, and this team was on ESPN2.
Yeah, right? How's that work?
Cognitive Gaming has 1950. Twitter.com/Team Dignitas. Let's see. Dignitas
it must
has
have like
71.2 thousand followers. They have 69,000 more followers than the San Jose SaberCats. And the SaberCats are on TV. So
what are you saying?
Those of you that are saying the numbers for eSports aren't out there.
Well, that's like when I was following the MLG scene a lot, and you would see MLG post some of their numbers, and their numbers were higher than any other North American sporting event except for the Super Bowl. Like the numbers that they were putting out there.
Super Bowl's always going to win.
Exactly. But think about that. Rose Bowl, more numbers than that. So, it was super impressive to see that without a doubt.
Oh, yeah.
And those are the numbers that I think wow people. Those are also the numbers that bring in sponsors. When you're like, hey, we could give you an outlet where you can have, you're an energy drink company. your market is the same demographic as ours, and we can give you an outlet to reach all those people in one weekend with these X amount of numbers, go for it. So,
yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, the same people that own Cognitive Gaming own the San Jose SaberCats, and you saw all the Razer advertisements around the arena. That's why I brought the Cognitive Gaming comparison.
Okay.
Same owner.
I didn't realize it was the same owner. Okay.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a friend of mine. But it's the same owner. So the viewers are there. You said the sponsors are there. I mean, there's a UFC. Scott Jerkson, or I'm probably pronouncing his name incorrectly, but he's a UFC fighter, and he's on Team Razer. He's sponsored by Team Razer to play Call of Duty. He's not a pro gamer, but he's just a personality to bring like awareness to their team, and so there's a lot of alternative. I keep bugging Chris Cluey. I'm a huge follower of Chris Cluey. Chris Cluey was a punter or a kicker for the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay.
He's politically oriented, but I'm talking more towards his nerd status.
Okay.
Longtime Magic the Gathering player, longtime WoW player. I mean, Chris Cluey's Twitter is Chris Warcraft. He streams Hearthstone on Twitch. He tweets just as much about the NFL as he does how frustrating it is to play against Miracle Rogue. So, he's a gamer through and through, and I keep bugging him like, yo, just go get a sponsorship from like Alienware. They'll give you a computer if you stream for them 3 times a week. Like, there's a lot of exposure for esports, and we're just, with this MLG X Games thing, we're just touching the surface. So, I mean, shout, like, GOM TV exists. It's a television network in Korea. People were mentioning it before. America is a little slow to the party. Europe is a lot more interested in esports than America is. So I think the next step is in Europe. So Hindu man, go do something about it.
Go do something.
Yep,
that's
all
right.
You, Hindu.
Stop watching the show and go make a difference, bro. Come on, man. So
I think we got to look to other organizations like ESL.
Yep. I think
like
I think there's some good stuff coming out of ESL right now. So I think it'd be great. So that'll pretty much round out the show for this week, folks. Special shout outs to Hi-Rez Studios for hosting this show on their Twitch channel. We thank them every week for allowing us to do that and have a larger audience with this outlet. It is awesome. Also, special thanks to all the listeners that gave us 5-star reviews on the iTunes store. So, if you guys, I want to push you guys to go ahead and click the streamer feedback button below and give us your feedback on the show. I definitely want to know about it. But on top of that, also on dude, what are you guys, the typing fiends over there? Holy crap!
Mechanical keyboard.
You guys are killing me. Both of you guys.
Oh, right. The mechanical keyboard that you're so excited for. I still have my non-mechanical.
Gross. So
Sorry,
anyways, make sure that you guys go hit that streamer feedback button and give us a thumbs up, give us a thumbs down type of deal. You like the show, let us know.
No thumbs down.
I was getting there. If you don't like the show, good for you. But anyways, all previous episodes of the Smite Update, going back 51 episodes to the original open beta, are available on YouTube at youtube.com/TheSmiteUpdate. And next week we'll have the show, as we do every week, at 5 p.m. Eastern on right here on the Smite Game channel. And throw it over to you, FG3000. We had an opportunity to have you on to fill in this week for Fats, as he had some early family obligations going on. Where can people go ahead and check you out and check out more of your content?
Oh, hold on, wait.
Ho.
So, man, I had a great time. First of all, once again, I'm delaying, and there we go.
Okay.
Bam. Once again, if you want to check me out, I am very, very active on YouTube. There's my channel that got deleted because I got slain again. Again.
I know.
You gotta wait for me to give you.
I wasn't paying attention. I'm not used to this. I'm used to being in Tier Monster and posting anything I want to do. I'm not in Tier Monster anymore.
Actually, before we end it, can we hot seat you real quick? Let's hot seat you real quick.
Okay.
Whoa.
No longer part of Tier Monster. What's up with that, baby?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I dropped Tier Monster so I can focus on doing 12 to 14 videos a week. F-dots.
Now, why?
What are those videos called?
Yeah.
I have Smite Metacasual News, which is one of my favorite shows to do right now. I do it twice a week, so as soon as I'm done with this, I'll be recording the newest episode. I basically collect everything that I find from Twitter, from Reddit to Smite forums, everything. I combine it and put it in a 10 to 15 minute episode twice a week. And then of course I do live commentaries. I try to get my dry bear on, and yeah, I just play Smite all day. I literally have 2 icons on my desktop: is Smite and WildStar.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And you got some good stuff going on over there too, with some recent sponsor news, right, for yourself?
I do. I really can't talk about it, but I'm just doing my thing.
Just leave.
Hanging out.
Well, FG, first of all, you're gonna have to talk to me privately about your little sponsor thing.
There you go.
There you go. Us little guys got to stick together, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm with you.
What's it called? No, I'm super happy. Just ask Octane. When I asked him, he was like, "Yo, Fats is a family thing. We got to get a replacement." And like, I woke up and saw the message, and I was like, "Oh crap! I didn't help you because I didn't see this message. Who'd you get? I hope they don't suck because you're gonna pick somebody dumb because you're Octane." And he was like, "FG3000." I was like, "What? Nice!
In the
awesome!
face. In the face. All right, that's right. That's right.
Octane, you did something right. I'm not gonna talk about your beer choices, but for once, you did something right.
Yo. I had a few too many drinks the night before. And so I need to go a little light that day. So, see, folks, this is why you guys gotta come. This is why you folks gotta come to the LAN event, so you guys can come hang out with us. So, yeah. I will.
He just took out the shotgun.
You guys suck. All right, so chat room, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, go for it, Octane. Sorry.
Yeah, basically, we went out for dinner, and you know, me and FG got a few beers, and Octane got Smirnoff Ice, I think.
No. What did I actually get?
What is it? A Twisted Tea?
You guys know exactly what I got. What was it?
I think he had a Zima that he's been storing in his cabinet forever. He brought it out.
He had the Zima in the lunchbox.
All right. What?
That's how it was.
I actually ended up getting and I will admit it, I did get a Miller High Life. All right. I had a few drinks the night before. I needed a little extra hydration, so I got a watered down beer. I will admit. I hate you guys. See, it's unbelievable. So, anyways, moving on from there. FG had said and posted in chat, but for the audio only audience, it is youtube.com/fitnessgamer3000. That FG3000. Fitnessgamer3000. So for those of you guys on iTunes.
I love that guy. He's great.
Yeah. I just say you're the more in shape Fats. That's all. So we're good to go.
I don't condone that, Fats. I love you.
Somebody in chat, milk on the rocks.
Oh man! Yo, shouts out to our previous episodes right there. Very good. To be fair, I got this drink rum chata. It's horchata with rum. It's tasty. It's basically milk. But no, I'm real happy we had FG on here. This is
it's a good time.
This is a good little trio we got going on right here.
That's right. And where can people check you out, man?
You can find so I've had a little bit of computer problems, so I haven't been streaming for a little while. In fact, that's what my computer looks like at the moment. It's kind of held on by like zip ties and.
Why am I not surprised?
Like it's been a bad couple of weeks, but I bought some stuff. Shouts to my man in chat, Sickness Gaming with 2 G's. He's going to help me out a little bit. We're going to figure things out. I'm going to get my build sorted. So, the future is, you can find me every weekday morning on twitch.tv/cheermonster. We call it First Period from 7 to 10 a.m. We talk Smite, sports, and everything in between. Just kind of hang out, have a great time. You can also find me on my personal channel. I try to hit like 2 in the afternoon. Usually playing Smite, sometimes playing some other stuff. I'm really into like single player games, so
what have you been playing?
Come chill. Well, Mother I started a while ago, and because of the computer issues, I haven't been able to finish it anytime soon. Mother 3, the sequel to Earthbound, translated into English.
Okay.
So
interesting.
So that's gonna be really cool. And also you can find me there. On my personal channel is twitch.tv/fswag. So that's where you can find me in the afternoon at night. Usually just playing Smite, usually solo queue league, but I like to play with my friends, Strangelove and FG, and I have the Turks. That's my little crew, my little clan. Sometimes we get and go play some casuals. But yeah, so that's Tier Monster, twitch.tv/Tier Monster in the weekday mornings, and then twitch.tv/FSwag in the afternoons and night times. You can find me there too. Sort of doing my thing. And then Sundays, right here on Smite Game with your boy Octane Pro and Fats.
Hey yo. Yeah, I've been really happy. Things have worked out really well with bringing on Fats as our third host to fill that slot. We've been happy with it, and trust me, we have no problem. I will say we have no problem finding guests for the show. So it's when one of us has to duck out, which happens, it's worked out well. I like the change up every once in a while, and FG, it's been awesome, man. I appreciate you coming out, man. I didn't hear you. You had your mic muted.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
There it is. Hey!
Did I? Thank you. Oh, I don't know.
It's all good. You're good. We got you. Anyways, guys, if you want to follow me, I'll go ahead and post in chat. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/TheSmiteUpdate, and that is a channel where you can find all the shows here and some additional community content that I have put together. Not as big of a channel as FG3000, but does the job. Great place for you guys to check all that out. I also have a gameplay channel, youtube.com/OctanePro, SCII. And then finally, check me out on Twitch, OctanePro, SCII. I'll post that in chat for you guys. And
what's that name change coming?
Proski.
I'm waiting. It's all because of Twitch, but apparently I've seen a few people getting some name changes, so I have been in contact with somebody. I'm looking to make that change because the change is easy on Twitter. If I can make it on Twitch, I'll be good. And then YouTube's only the big headache. So
hold on one
we'll
sec.
see.
Let me. I think I have some salt here.
Oh yeah, F's been trying for like the last decade.
My name is F Swag.
F Swagger, baby. Anyways, folks, check out the show next week, 5 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. We'll have Fats back here, myself, and F. Dot as always. And stay tuned. In the next few minutes, we'll be bringing you guys some viewer gameplay. And I think, FG, you're going to hang around for a little while, or no, you got to scoot out?
No, I'll do some jungling for you.
All
Little
right.
solo Nuwa, Mr. 10-Minute Towers. Got you, buddy. I got you.
I missed the 10-minute towers.
Fats,
If you don't get it done in 10 minutes, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You gotta bring back the stream, FG. I mean, like,
yeah, dude.
FG's one of the best. I mean, like, I'm a dirtbag. I don't play viewer games. Like, it's not my thing.
Yeah.
I just like to do my solo queue.
Yep.
FG's one of my favorite, like, just content dudes. Like, the videos are dope. The streams are dope. Because everybody likes to play viewer games, you know. And FG's always down and, like, he's not gonna make fun of you when you suck. Like that's why I don't play viewer games, because I'm gonna make fun of you when you suck. Like FG's gonna be like, well, not a big deal, buddy. Let's just get the tower. Like, FG's.
I sound cooler than that.
Yeah,
right.
right.
No, see, that's the thing, you know. A lot of I know I'm totally eating up the end card right here, Octane. But like a lot of the viewer game players, you know, they're just like, well, hello and welcome to my party. FG's just a dude that happens to be nice, like. So it's cool, and I just got to tip my hat to one of my favorite people in the Smite content creating scene.
Digital hug.
Digital hug.
I'm glad you were our sub this week. Very happy.
Awesome. Well, folks, we'll see you guys next week. Stay tuned. About 10 minutes. We're going to take a 10-minute break. We'll be back with some viewer games. We'll see you guys then. Take care.
Peace.